All right, welcome back to the show. We about to argue.
We about to fight each other.
All right, so I will start this conversation as such. I'm not a mega Migos fan.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I've said it enough times. I saw my
Hold up, are you going to introduce the show?
I did. Yo, welcome back.
He said, "Hey, we're gonna fight." That's all.
Welcome back to the Men on the Internet podcast. My name is Kelby. Over there, it's
Sunil.
And over there, behind the camera, it's
Hola.
the director of Border Control. Give us an update. How's it going over there?
Apparently, Kamala's fighting everybody.
And why you gonna say her name like that?
Yo, hey,
Yeah, Kamala.
where were you
Kamala.
last week on Saturday? You were stuck where?
Saturday, I was stuck in Dallas.
Wow, and what's going on in Dallas right now?
You know,
Border
He
stuff.
said it's
COVID?
Dallas Day.
Border stuff.
guns.
Texas is one of the main states, so he was stuck there.
I was trying
dealing with the
Is
border.
Houston
to deal
near
with
the
it.
border?
I mean, Texas is on the border.
Yeah, but Texas is the biggest state.
Okay,
in the
come on,
planet.
man. Like, way to just go real in depth.
Sorry.
Dallas and
I
the
was,
middle.
I was
You
a
know what
little
the
bit
problem
lost.
is? If Kelby doesn't make the joke, he ain't gonna let it go off. Unless
didn't
he
know.
does
I'm
it,
sorry.
unless
I
he
was
does
like-
it, it's like he's not gonna let it go.
No,
He's
no,
not
no.
gonna let it go. Like, he needs to be in control.
No.
of the
I
funny.
did not understand the joke.
No,
That's
he
why I
just
was like,
don't know how to roll
Yeah,
with
we
it.
were just he
That's
does
bad,
it.
my
Yeah.
bad.
Yo,
If
say it again. Say it
Nah,
again.
it's done. It's killed.
My bad. I really was like, well, geographically, is it?
Yeah, he put on his real like academic like. Well, technically, if you think about it, it's really
And I be hating when people do that
South,
to me. I'm like,
Northeast.
just get it. Just understand it. Now I don't get it.
Yeah.
My bad. All right. Well, Chris, tell us how everybody's doing over there. Kamala said, yo, you Guatemalans, stay over there. We hate you. Don't ever come back.
That's not what she said at all.
Oh, okay.
But oh, do you want to actually answer?
We're really waiting for an update, my man.
Border control here. I don't know. Look it up. Google it. My work here is done.
All right. Let's get started on the Culture 3 album.
Can I just point out the thing he just said in more eloquently than I'm about to describe? He
I
said,
love it, too. I know what you're
I
saying.
love natural asses. Unless they fake. It's totally fine if they fake. But I love, I like them both.
He said, I like the natural, but it's your body. You can do whatever you want with it. I support the message. That's my favorite line on that song. And I think that's Hove's favorite line on the song, too.
That's equality right there.
Oh, I love that song. I love it. All right. So, as a person who's criticized the Migos in the past, I saw him at Coachella 20
Years ago.
18.
Oh.
2018, 2019. One of the years, whatever Baychella was, I saw him. They got there 45 minutes late, maybe an hour late, something like that. Eminem started performing. The crowd flocked over to the white boy. And they came on the stage. Their mics didn't work. They had no energy. And I said, this kind of sucks. Then I saw him again at the Three Amigos concert, and it was horrible. Horrible. And with that being said, I'm kind of like, they cool. I think Culture 1 is a pretty good album. Culture 2 is absolutely horrifyingly bad. But Culture 3 came out, and you didn't like it.
So it's not. So what I've been seeing is a lot of lukewarm praise of it, but let's not bring in.
Wait, what does that mean?
So like people are liking it because they like the Migos.
Okay.
But they're saying this isn't my favorite Culture album. And usually when people are saying this isn't my favorite Culture album, they're just trying to say that it's not trash. Now, I don't know if it's not trash or not. What I realized about this album was I am so far removed from relating to anything that they rap about that it's just like, and so then at that point I'm looking for just entertainment music.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is a very entertaining album as far as like bangers that you're gonna hear in the club, other than the singles that have come out already, or just like stuff that I'd listen to at the gym. Like it's not that kind of music. The ad libs to me are the best part of their songs.
That's
and if that is the best part of your songs, then it's not really. Like this is what I think about the Migos. I don't think they're artists in the sense of they're out here trying to push how their musicality sounds, like their lyrics, all this kind of stuff. I just feel like they're just making songs to fit an album. Like it seems like they're not putting in a lot of work just from hearing what it is and stuff like that. I could be completely wrong. Maybe this is like take after take after take. But it doesn't, if that the finished product doesn't make me think that, wow, they're like really working to like, what is the, like, what are we trying to say with this?
Okay. So, album came out. I got Apple Music, so it took me a little bit. It took me a little bit to hear it, but I heard it. And
don't blame that on Apple Music.
No, they had an issue with Apple Music. They came out like 3-4 hours late.
Gotcha.
Like it's always Apple Music, unfortunately, because
I thought that was the platform.
no, well, Spotify's a platform. Spotify got like 40 or 50 million subscribers. I think Apple Music got 12. Yeah, so Spotify is the place to be at. So I pop it in. I listen to a little bit of Kodak Black first because he dropped, and way better than that other project, which was unfortunate because it was a Haitian project, maybe real prideful, but it was so bad. Anyway, I popped this in. Avalanche comes on as the first song. Now, coming off of the heels of Culture 2, a horrible album, just from beginning to end, all 89 songs. Horrible. I said, if I get some more fake Travis Scott sounds on this, it's a wrap for these guys. And then Avalanche comes on, and that they got that little wavy jazz beat on there, and I said, well, wait a second here. And now, as a person who kind of, to be honest with you, I barely really understand what they're saying. It's kind of like, I don't want to say they're mumble rapping. I just don't understand their accent. It's just like, and I'm like, okay, I can understand the ba, but I can't understand the actual words they're saying. So when Quavo said, there's nothing wrong with enhancing, it's yours, I was like, oh, I heard that. That's a great line. And then I saw Hove text him like, yo, that Avalanche song is hot. I was like, okay, it's not just me. Then the Drake song comes on. And the first time I listened to it, I was like, I played it a couple more times. I was like, that was really nice of Aubrey to let these other guys rap on the song with him. It was about 2.5 minutes. And then after that, I just kept on listening to it. And I said, okay, that song was good. That song was okay. And then by the time I was completely bored of the music, there was 9 songs left. That's when I said, these guys feel the pressure, A, because it's not Culture 2 bad. It's not Culture 1 good. It's just kind of like, you tried harder, right? But at the same time, I think that they don't really get the concept of less is more and just put out your absolute best work and make that a classic. Because I think if you put out 9 songs and every single one of them was hard, we good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But 19 songs, and there's 3 people in the group, so the song is going to be just by default 4.5 minutes. So the response that the streets is giving it is accurate, I think. Better than Culture 1, better than we expected. Not horrible. Gets to a point where it's boring, but okay. Just like, okay, this gives them one more year or two.
I mean, I think they'll be relevant just because of who
they're famous.
All.
Yeah,
they're
like,
famous. Yeah. You know, obviously Cardi B's involved. Like, you know, they have Atlanta behind them, you know, and stuff like that. But I mean, me not being like into the, like just listening to the music, like I said, it's not something that I'm continuously playing in my car. Other than, you know, the Avalanche song is dope.
I like that
and
song.
then the Bag Alert song, at least, you know, the hook is dope.
Yep.
But I'm saying, like, those are like...
I like the Justin Bieber feature.
The Drake song was like, Drake was cool on it, but like... Like I said, it's just not anything that was memorable to me that I'm just like, yo, this song is getting bumped in my car over and over and over again.
And I think that we expected that because when you put Straightening out as your lead single, which is a hard song. Like, it's a hard song. I liked it. I thought it was cool, but it's not a hit single.
Yeah, there's no like Walk It Like I Talk It song that you're playing over and over again.
Even that song I thought was like, that's the best they could have gave us. There's no Bad and Bougie. There's no like out of this planet. This is an amazing song that's like got everybody going crazy. Because Bad and Bougie had the Backyardigans making cartoon memes and everybody was excited about it.
Yeah.
It was like they ran the summer with that song.
Yep.
But even with Culture 2, like Walk It Like I Talk It, like Drake is a feature on there. So like, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? So like,
but that hook was hard. I like that. Like, there's no song that I listen to that I'm like, it's stuck in my head like normal Migos songs.
Oh, you know what was another good one? Chop suey.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Chinese food or something like that. It was a song.
Oh,
about,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was a good song. To me, I could never understand why Motocross became a big song. I just don't get it. It's not a good song at all.
Wasn't that with that had some
and-
big features? That's why,
Just
and the
don't get
drama
it.
around that song, right?
Yeah, but even then, it's just not a good song. So it's just like I just don't understand the appeal, the mass mega appeal. But I do think that these guys are superstars in
Dude,
the way
what
that
they look like at the Logan Paul, they look great at the fight, Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul fight.
Yeah,
They have that style, like, and I think they're hood, but they're like different hood. You know what I mean? They're not.
Yeah.
They got that outcast vibe.
definitely. They definitely have that. They have this like futuristic thing to them. I think that their persona is more special, more powerful, more great than any of their music.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like just hearing Quavo say like, "I got a movie with Robert De Niro," it was where I was like, okay, I'm excited about this, for these guys. But the actual album, it's like I understand for a while they ran the place with the flow, the flow, but like it's been like 7 years.
It's not evolved. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like they're artists that are constantly trying to like
change.
Push.
Yeah.
You're not hearing that evolution in their music where you're like, oh, these guys are growing. It's like the same stuff, and I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, and I get that. But best luck to these guys. I don't hate the album. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a nice effort, little C+. I don't actually think I've listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, I sure didn't.
But I'm pretty sure I got 80% of the way through. And then after that, I was just like, I don't know which song this one is.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a question for y'all. What like, as men on the internet,
I'm a man in real life too.
back is killing me. Okay. What does self-care, because everybody be talking about self-care now.
Right.
Self-care season, it's blah, blah, blah. What does that mean to you as a person?
Well,
That is the greatest answer.
I mean, you know what it is. All right, moving on.
I mean, just, making sure your mental health's good.
Well,
Don't
what does that
stress
mean?
yourself out too much. Don't stress about a lot of things. If
Well,
you
how
do,
could you not? Like, some people are just wired that way.
True. But at some point, you got to sit, breathe.
I don't think people are wired to be stressed.
I think some people are. That's why they got to take that Xanax.
I don't think that's because they're wired that way. I think that's repetitive thoughts that they continue to allow themselves to think that have caused them to be this way, and it's been for so long that they can't remember a time when they weren't that way. So here's the thing: when people sometimes people feel like, oh, this is just the way that I am, and that's just because they can't remember a time when they weren't that way. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way that you always were. When we were babies, we weren't stressed about.
Well, what are we? Ultimately, aren't we just a mixture of everybody we've ever met?
Or what we've allowed ourselves to be. So like think about, when you think about just thought processes, if you constantly always look at things in a negative way, eventually you're going to become a negative person. But that doesn't mean you don't have the ability to be a positive person. It's just your default is in this way because you've allowed it.
It doesn't mean you have to be stuck like that.
But I don't actually think that that's necessarily true. I think that there is a space for a person who assesses things in a negative way because they're playing that if it will go wrong, it'll go wrong game. But in general, they're just totally fine. They're just kind of messed up in the head.
That makes no sense whatever.
You understand what I'm saying?
You can't be fine and be messed up in the head. How does that make sense?
Someone who's a pessimist, who's a realist.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Like somebody who's realistic about everything, where it's like, I'm not looking at this in a positive way or a negative way. I'm just taking it for what it is.
Yeah, but a realist isn't a pessimist. A pessimist is somebody who constantly tries to look for the negative in things. A realist is taking in the situation and coming up with, the reality. The reality is not always going to be negative.
What do you think you are?
Oh, I'm an optimist.
Really?
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say the same.
Oh, shoot.
I'm really good at, because like with Jessica and I, she's very much like, she sees like, this is gonna go bad. This is the worst that could happen. Here we go. And I'm like, relax. Like,
Relax.
take a breather. Look at it from this point of view. If it goes this way, cool. If it doesn't, we do this. There's always a solution. So it's like,
So are you guys yin and yang?
pretty much when it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to like big decision making stuff, like with her school or with her job and stuff like that, like it's
Come to
yin and
you,
yang.
talk to you.
That's why you guys have been able to rise so strong for 18 years.
Yeah,
I think
for
it's about
18
not
and a half.
22, 22 and a half.
It's been 22 the last week, just in a week,
man.
bro.
Yeah, man,
Grew
fact.
for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they about to hit that silver anniversary.
Hey,
I'll tell you that right now.
platinum.
I would go
But
for
you know
silver to platinum.
what's crazy?
Wait a minute.
What's crazy is I used to be like, when I was in the negative mentals, I was very pessimistic. So now I'm starting to feel like real good about like life in general again. And not because of what's going on, but because I physically been like like focusing on trying to get back or putting things in perspective. And I've been having those out of body experiences where I'm just like, dude, like you're really back to a good place, you know, mentally and everything.
What do you think changed?
Time, circumstances, putting things in perspective, you know, focusing on giving your patience with yourself, I think is a big thing. Like having patience with yourself, not beating myself up. Because I think a lot of times we talk to ourselves so much more than we talk to anybody else, right? That mental thought process. And it's sometimes it's just like we don't pay attention to that voice, but that's constantly in our ears. So if that's what you're hearing all the time, eventually, like you said, it's going to wire you a certain way. But it's not that you're wired that way. You've allowed it, just like working out, right? So if you don't work out for a long time, that weight that you used to be able to lift feels heavy.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly working out, then you're pushing yourself. You're like, dang, I feel really, really strong. It's not because you're naturally that way. It's because you've built yourself to be that way.
Do you when you talk to yourself, do you say things that I'll give you an example. Like for me, I speak to myself as if I'm like
Your friend.
always I'm always accomplishing something that is the next level of crazy, like almost impossible. And I always am telling myself like I literally will tell myself like, if you give up right now, you're not who you say you are. Whenever I would go to the gym,
There we go.
you know, like whenever I would go to the gym, and I know that I'm dying. Like I feel like you know the pain.
Yeah.
Like when you do too much cardio, you get that little pain. I would just kind of tell myself like, if you take that machine from level 12 to level 9 right now, you're giving up and you're not who you say you are. And I tend to have this thing where I automatically go to the next level, even though I feel like I'm dying. And I think Chris has probably seen that before, because Chris went to the gym with me, and were you the one that threw up, or was it Beatty?
No, that was Beatty.
Yeah, okay.
I just kept taking breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the average person would just see me and would not expect that I'm in there like going crazy. And so that's why I like to work out by myself, because I'm truthfully speaking to myself for 2 hours, telling myself what I need to hear. Because the worst thing that happens to me is the moments before I fall asleep, all the worst thoughts come out.
Mine are in the morning.
Why?
I don't know. I just noticed that like, and what's crazy is when I was in a bad mental space, my conversations with myself were just putting myself down. Dude, how are you still thinking this way? Why are you such a loser? Like, why are you allowing yourself to be affected by this? Like, dude, you're so like just negative, like just beating myself up. Now my conversations are, bro, it's all good. It's a process. You're good, man. You've come through. You come a long way, man. I love you. You always got me here. Like I'm talking to myself as if I'm a like best hype man, best friend in my head, and it's like changed a lot of just how I perceive things. So even if things hadn't changed in my life as far as like getting accomplishing the things that I wanted to get, how I was feeling was changing a lot, just because like the way that I was just mentally like, I guess talking to myself. And I think a lot of times we're not, when I notice that people that I talk to are unhappy, I think they don't actively understand that they're getting 90% negative feedback from themselves at all times. And so even if they have a conversation that's good, have like a moment that's positive, it doesn't compare to the 90% of just negative stuff that they're telling themselves all the time, that they're constantly feeling negative.
Yeah. I've actually met a few people like that recently, where I had a conversation with this woman, and she's not like a young woman, she's not old either, but she's just kind of like in her 40s. And I was like, tell me a little bit about how you see yourself. I don't want you to tell me about yourself. I just want to know about how you see yourself, because people often say like I come off like rather confident, right? And so that's what she told me. She was like, I can't be like you, who walks around with the confidence on your forehead. And I was like, well, tell me how you think about yourself, because I don't actually think that I do that. But if I do, it's because I really feel like I am whoever I say I am. And it was the longest, most saddest hour of conversation I've had in a long time. Somebody who just thinks that they're completely worthless. And I don't I'm not a professional, but what do you even say to that? When somebody says like, I'm literally worth nothing.
What have I said in the past when I've dealt with that?
You been in that?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. What did you say?
I just start out small, because at that point, the worst thing you could do, it's just like any type of growth, right? When you work, I always try to put things back into perspective as far as like working out, because I think that's something that most everybody can understand in some capacity. So if you haven't worked out in a long time, is the best thing to do is try to max out on the weight that you
used to do 4 years ago.
Yeah, when you were at your strongest. No, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna get hurt, right? Yeah. So the worst thing you could do is try and fix a lot immediately, right? So it's baby steps. So the industry that I used to be in, I used to deal with coaching, motivating, and a lot of it was just like fixing a person or working towards fixing like certain things about people's confidence and so on and so forth. So whenever I came across somebody who was extremely down on themselves and always saw things in a negative perspective, didn't believe in themselves, same type of thing where they just felt like, I'm worthless, I'm this and that. It starts small. Like every single day, I want you to write down one thing that was positive about the day. And it's just getting them into the mindset of seeing positive things. And then it's like, build it up to 2, build it up to 3. And it's the same type of thing whenever I'm trying to get somebody to like want to work out and stuff. It's not go out and, spend an hour a day. It's like, wake up, here's an easy workout. Do this for 15 minutes a day. And then what happens after you start doing it regularly? You get addicted. And then that 15
you start seeing them results.
Yeah. Yep. Even if you don't see results, you just start feeling better. And now that 15 turns to 20, turns to 25, turns to 30. That's what happened with this like 12-week challenge that we're doing. Like I was so out of shape when we started, and I was trying to do these hour, and I was just getting so like tired, like physically tired the next day. And I'm just like, dude, like why am I trying to do what I used to do when I was like in my good shape like a year and a half ago? I'm like, let me just start out with like 15-20 minutes and then not beat myself up for only working 20 minutes. Now it's like 45 minutes, an hour and a half. Like now it's like gotten a lot better, but it goes back to you talking about like what are those conversations like. It's like not beating myself up for not working out an hour. It's like it's saying, hey dude, you at least did better than not doing anything today. Good for you. Now we're not anywhere where we need to be, but you took the first step. And like that mentality, then the next day I'm waking up early to go try to do 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Like, just setting little goals where instead of trying to win it all in one day.
Yeah. I mean, that's important. It's important because even for me, like as a person who puts a lot of pressure on myself, and I feel like I like to be in a situation where I feel like my back is against the wall. You know, that's why my self-talk comes with challenge. Like it comes with, you need to overcome this thing. But there are plenty of times where I don't. Right. There have been times where I worked out for 5 minutes and I left the gym and I was just like, this ain't it. Right. But then I always say like, okay, let me first analyze like why was today not a good day?
Right.
For what I wanted to accomplish, and how am I going to make up for this situation tomorrow and the day after and the day after? So with that being said, it's like, yes, sometimes I'm not who I say I am. Sometimes I'm not. And that's okay, because ultimately there's going to be this next challenge, a bigger wall for me to climb. And when I do that and I spin all the way down to the other side, that's when I turn around and I go, man, I remember 3 miles ago, that wall looked so far away. It looked so big. How can I ever accomplish this? And then all of a sudden, when your feet hit the ground on the other side, you turn around and you're like, it wasn't even that big.
Yep.
So
serious question though, Chris. Your inner voice, is it in English or Spanish?
Both, man.
Have you ever asked your parents? Does your mom and dad speak to you more in Creole, French, or in English?
My dad speaks to me in French. My mom speaks to me in English, and most of my like elder family, they speak to me in English or Creole.
I asked my dad that once. I was like, Dad, do you think in English or do you think in our mother tongue, Konkani? I was like, or do you think in Konkani? And he looked at me and he was just like, I never thought about that, Sunil, but I think in English. And I was like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't even pay attention to our inner voice.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like, if you take that moment to ask yourself, like, what am I actually telling myself on a regular basis? A lot of how we think, a lot of where our problems stem from, I bet could be solved by just paying attention to the inner voice that we're saying. Because I think there's a lot of there's people that aren't negative, but are feeling negative and tend to be negative just because their inner voice has gone into this negative space. And then you got to focus on changing that inner voice, and then all of a sudden you start seeing different results in your life as well.
Do you have to lie to yourself sometimes?
I don't even think it's a lie.
But do you have to?
No. Because even when you said, I'm not always who I say I am, I think that's not accurate, because you're still holding yourself accountable. Like, who you say you are is always who you say you are. You're still becoming that thing. So even these hurdles, even Superman had hurdles. Even Superman had a kryptonite. Does that make him not Superman? That he had his weak moments?
Well, I think the difference with that is he's always going to be Superman, right?
Right.
But is he going to be the person who's ready to save the entire city? Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean to say. It took Jesus 33 years to save the entire planet.
But he was always Jesus.
He was always Jesus, but he still had to work.
But that's what I'm saying. But that same person that accomplished it still had to go through that process.
Exactly. I think I mean it in the sense of like, yeah, I'm me, but like the title I give to myself,
right?
It's just like, did I earn that today? You know,
that's a great way of thinking about things. Did I earn today?
Yeah, and I think that's important. Like, to me, I was just speaking to this lady yesterday, where I was like, I really don't see the value in paying people in their time, right? Because like ultimately, people do whatever they want with their time, and they don't offer it to their work all the way, right? Like the average person in an office is working like 60% of the time,
right?
So to me, it's like, okay, if we at your job, you continuously have projects to work on. You just have, sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. So I think like, why don't we work on this system where we are accomplishing things and we are compensated for that? And I take that thinking back into my own personal self, where I'm like, okay, I am not going to compensate myself for waking up. It's not even my doing, right? I'm not going to compensate myself for just taking a shower. I'm going to compensate myself for turning around and saying that right there, I'm going to do that. I don't have to, but if I want to reach a certain level or a certain place or whatever it is that I want to do, I'm going to make the decision to do that. And then the second decision is I'm going to make the honest decision to do my best at it. Because there's been plenty of times where I've done things and I just do 60% of it. It's done. but at 60% quality. And then I turn around and I say, I should not reward myself the same way as if when I gave myself, when I gave that project 100% of me.
What are some of the rewards you give yourself?
Well, I think some of the reward is the satisfaction of completion. Like whenever I complete something, it's like a certain hit of dopamine that just like rushes through my body.
For sure.
You know, and that's the first one that I'm like looking forward to, because a lot of the decisions that I make affect other people. So it's always like, okay, the fact that this has been accomplished is such a wonderful thing, because it means someone else's life is easier, or it gives them, you know, a certain purpose or whatever. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I often will find another issue. Like, let's say I worked and I'm compensated for what I do, and then I'm like, okay, like right now I've been working on like getting debt free, you know. And one of the greatest feelings, like yesterday was such a good day, because I was just walking around just feeling this idea of like, dude, I cannot even believe that once I put my mind to being on this track, how far I've gotten, you know, and making the choice of like, okay, I'm gonna buy this car cash. I don't want to have this thing hanging over my head anymore, right? And then like I just was telling Chris this like before we started the podcast. Like I got the car waxed and I just felt so happy, because I was like, this is mine,
Right.
you know. And that right there is satisfaction for me, because I'm walking around without this lug that I used to have on me. It feels amazing, you know. And now like I'm a spontaneous traveler, you know. That's what I like to do. I like to get in a car and just drive away. So now I feel like coming up soon in the next season of my life, you know, that's going to happen a lot more, especially as a person who's like super dedicated to work. And I give too much of myself to it. And too much is not to say like I need to cut back, but sometimes I need to cut back. And I'm going to just do something a little bit bigger than what I did last time, you know, because like all work, no play, right? Is just,
what's the point?
That's right, exactly. And it's been all work for years and years and years.
Right.
So that's,
and you've seen the results of that though too.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, so these are the type of things that like I really enjoy, you know, and I also really enjoy helping other people, you know, get to a position like that. So
for sure. And going back to your original question about self-care, I think it's important for me. I know that like it's a few things, like mental stability, as far as like making sure mentally you're in a happy place, and then feeling good about yourself, like how you look, how you feel, and not just like I mean, obviously there's going to be a superficial type of mentality as well, but like also just how you feel. Like I hate, like what I noticed going through this 12-week challenge is like, dude, I used to just stuff myself where I was just like, I wasn't even feeling good. Like I'd eat so much food that I'd be like, ugh, just like, I felt like remember in Charlie and his Chocolate Factory where that girl turned into like the plum or whatever? Yeah. Like that's how I would feel. Like I'm just like stretching my stomach like as far out as it can go. And I was just like, dude, why was I doing that to myself? Like, it's just more pain than actual enjoyment.
It's just the moment of eating that food that gives you that sense of satisfaction just right there in the moment. What I've learned from this 12-week challenge is like I'm tracking everything I eat. And the calories add up fast. Right. But I've noticed that at the end of the day, sometimes I will feel hungry. Like I'll feel like my body's telling me like, dude, you are hungry. But then I look back and I see, well, what did I eat today? And it's like, okay, you ate 3,200 calories. Why do you feel hungry still? Like why is that feeling weighing over your head? And then I'm like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and challenge myself today to see, well, am I going to wake up in the morning? Like, can I go to bed feeling like this and wake up in the morning? I wake up in the morning and like I try not to eat after 7 p.m. too. Now. Like I know that a lot of my fitness friends feel like that's not a real thing, but it helps me a lot.
Right.
You know,
the intermittent fasting type stuff.
I don't know if I really call it intermittent fasting because it's not what I register it as in my head. I just say like I know that I would go home at midnight with bags of chips, burgers, and whatever, and then we'd go to bed right after, and it would just be hard to fall asleep, and you just feel your stomach just like, blah, 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 you know, and it was just like, ugh. But now there's this sense of peace, like when you fall asleep, it's just like you almost feel light, like, okay. And then in the morning, I wake up and I go exercise, and it's like, oh, this didn't stop me from being me.
Right.
And I think that over a period of time, my body will just be forced to understand, like, hey, dude, you don't need 6,500 calories a day to be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that recalculation. And I think the first week is hard, you know, because your body is used to Burger King or McDonald's or gummy
And
bears.
maybe not
me.
even your body, it's more like mentally.
Yeah, your mind, right? And then your body starts reacting to what your mind says.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, shoot, okay, you know. But if I know for me, I had a caffeine problem, you know, like I would just consistently drink things to keep me up. But the moment I started cutting that out, I realized I didn't have some of the same aches that I used to have when it came around eating. Because once I hit my cap for the day, 3,200, 3,400 calories a day or something, and then if I had an energy drink or if I had coffee or something like that, it runs through my body where now I have to eat another meal. You know? And then once I realized that, I'm like, okay, let me actually just cut down on the caffeine. Let me just put it down. And I'm like, oh, snap, I went the whole day. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's cool, man.
So is there anything like you guys actually say, like, I'm going to do this to make myself feel better?
In general, or like when I'm really feeling down?
Something that maybe you just practice. It doesn't have to necessarily be like something you do to recuperate to recover.
So I realize when I'm setting goals, accomplishing goals, I'm in a better mental state. So it's more about like actually following through on the things that I'm telling myself I want to do.
Yeah.
So like waking up at a certain time.
Every day.
Doing, not necessarily every day, but when I tell myself I want to wake up at this time and I want to do this in the morning before I have to like get ready and go to work. Like little things like that. When I actually do it and I could look back at the day and be like, wow, I actually accomplished everything that I said I was going to do today. I did. And I think that's like, and then you string enough of those days together, you're like, wow, I accomplished a lot this week. And wow, I accomplished a lot this month, you know? And like, that's kind of where the mentality was. And like, to be honest, as far as like the 12-week challenge, the first 4 weeks were trash.
Yeah,
like
same for me.
Like these 8 weeks, so we go into August 1st, so there's 6 weeks left, and I've like calculated what I want to get to and all this kind of stuff. But it's really the 12-week challenge turned into 8-week challenge for me.
Shoot, I almost want to like push it a little bit.
But no, I think it's good, like, because I probably think that most people that do the 12-week challenge, it's not a full 12 weeks. It's actually probably 4 weeks of mentally getting yourself into the right mind state, and then 8 weeks of actually doing like
Of
good
rhythm
work.
Yeah, rhythm. I feel the same. Like I definitely felt like I put the work in, like I was going to the gym and I was feeling fine and everything like that. But my biggest issue is not getting into a rhythm. It's the food. Like the food is so difficult because at all points in time, I feel hungry, you know? So that's why I had to start writing it down and start like really figuring out, okay, well, let me do this mathematically. Even though my body says I may be hungry, but it's like, dude, you ate a lot today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a tough. I think everybody has a different, difficulty. For you, maybe it was getting into that rhythm of just being like, okay, let me get into this. What about you, Chris?
For me, it's just it's a little bit of to actually get myself to do it. A little bit of a motivational thing. Once I'm in it, I'm in it. Like I've been trying to do more bike rides, and I'm watching what I eat. Like I realize if I have something really big, I'm like slow it down for the next meal. I like have like it's portion control for me. Cause like I'll eat healthy stuff, no problem. I'll just end up eating 3 plates of it though, and then I'm oh, never mind. I just undid everything I just did.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like portion control. I really have to watch that. Yeah, that's what I have to look
The
at.
binge eating, man. Whoo, that could definitely get to me too.
Eating just to eat.
Binge eat, yeah, and you just eat everything. instead of like just portion control. Like those services, I understand why, people use them, where just like the pre-planned meals or just
man,
like
so helpful.
all like every single workout, person on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, like, the amount of preparation that they do each week to be able to maintain what they have is remarkable,
Yeah.
and it's discipline. Like, it's true. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have, the more like, and that's the biggest things, like just discipline.
Yeah, I mean, I've even considered getting on those things because, like, something about the food that I make, like, even if it tastes good, I just don't want to eat it.
And for most people, I think it ends up becoming cheaper because like people that just eat out all the time, you think about it, you spend so much on food. If you eat out like for lunch, if you go to work and you go out to lunch, you're spending $10-15 and then
fast too.
And then dinner, you come home, you're spending another. So you're spending like $20-30 a day on food. Like in a week, that's almost like, $200+ dollars.
Yep.
When I worked at the mall, we worked at the mall. I was making $9.80 an hour, and one day I went to go see my girlfriend after work, and she was like, "How do you eat lunch? Do you take lunch to work?" I was like, "No, I eat at the food court every day." She's like, "You eat at the food court every day? How much you spend on a meal?" I was like, "About $10." She was like, "So you spend an hour's worth of work every day to eat?" I was like, "Dang, maybe, yeah, that's about how that works." So she only making if I worked a full shift, you're only making 7 hours of work a day.
Less than that.
Yeah. I was like, dang, that's
Deep.
That's facts. You just hit me there.
Yeah. It is difficult. I think, especially like if you're not somebody who's skilled in the kitchen, or you don't want to be, or it's hard. Like, for me, it's the time that it takes to cook things. It's just like, oh my gosh, another thing in my day where, it's difficult. So I'm definitely I want to eat out as much as possible because it's like faster, but it's also not a good strategy. Like, everything is more expensive nowadays, and I also have an issue where like I'll make food and I don't know how to calculate it per se. Like I know how to calculate it when I'm making it, but then when I eat it, my body's registering it as like, you did not eat anything at all, And so it's just, again, like training yourself, your mind and your body to be used to these other options, just like cooking at home, and making a meal that makes sense for your body and things like that. But it takes a while. Like, honestly, I would have to do it for 21 days straight for my body to be like, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's just reprogramming your mind, because you get used to the overeating when in actuality you're overeating, but we've made that overeating what normal eating is.
Yeah.
So that's when you actually regularly eat, you're supposed to be a little bit hungry. But
Really?
to you feel a little bit hungry, but that's just normal. Whereas we register it as hungry, but that's what you should be normally feeling like.
And you're right, because I sleep through the night, wake up, exercise in the morning with, technically nothing in my stomach, and everything is fine, but that's always my test, my barometer of saying like, okay, if I cannot exercise in the next morning, and sometimes I've definitely gone too little, where it's like, oh, I ate a salad today, good to go, right? And then the next morning,
you're all dizzy.
Seeing
them stars.
So then you have to, like,
you don't want to go opposite extreme.
Yeah, balance it and figure it out and that kind of thing. But like, it definitely is a good way of understanding like who you truly are and putting things into perspective. And for me, like, it's tough because I'm a scale watcher, right? Like, I try not to be, but to me, it gives me that little sense of like, I see compensation for what I've been doing.
Right.
So right now, it's like, even though I'm not exercising per se, it's really about what I eat, which is super important. I saw Ron Perlman actually posted something the other day that he had lost 20 pounds just on diet alone.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, damn, that's like,
I would say a majority of people changing their diet will start out like they'll lose so much weight just from changing their diet. And then at a certain point, then obviously, working out is important too. But
yeah. Hit that maintenance level. We can't all unfortunately be Chad Davis, but
Shad.
We're getting there. But yeah, that's good. I hit a point a few years ago where I used to go to a spa. I would never tell like realistically anybody that I was gonna go because I felt like you ever feel like there are things you don't want people to ask you about?
No, I've never thought those thoughts.
My social security number.
Yes.
Keep that private.
No, I have like certain things about me that like I will tell somebody like my mom and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just go do this thing, and in your brain you're just like, I'm simply informing you, like I'm just telling you this, and then they come back with 90 questions, and it's just like it wrecks everything, because it's just like I didn't mean to have a conversation about this,
right?
I just wanted to let you know. And so this was my one thing that I was just like gonna go and never like I would just leave,
What kind of spa?
So it was this spa in Orange County where it has a cold pool and a warm pool and a hot pool and 3 or 4 different types of saunas. So it was like a wooden sauna, a dry sauna. They have the wet one. Like it was just really
Cucumbers
fantastic.
on your eyes and stuff like that?
No. It wasn't necessarily like a spa like that. It was just more like if you have muscle tension.
Oh, like more relaxation.
Yeah, like it was relaxing, but it was also more like, like helping your muscles loosen up. Like if you had a lot of tension, you go
So you were
into
doing it for your back?
I wasn't really thinking about why I was doing it. I just found it on Groupon, and I went one time, and I was there. Like I was in the cold pool. I was in the hot pool. I stayed in a sauna for a while, and I just left there like on cloud 9. Like I was walking, I was hovering back to my car, and I was just like, whoa, wait a second. And then they have this like red rock thing, cave. You could lay under it for a while. I don't know what it does to your body, but it feels amazing. And then they have the exact same one, but it's blue and it's cold. And it's just dry rocks, and you just lay under it, and it just feels really amazing. So by the time you get back to your car to drive back home, you're just like, whoa.
Do they give you like a robe and stuff like that, or are you when
It's
you're
actually nude.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Did you get nude?
yeah, you got to.
Hey.
Yeah, it was like I went.
With other people too?
Yeah, everybody's there.
Everybody's naked.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is this legal?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Is this a
nudity,
brothel?
It's not illegal.
Well, there's a side for men and a side for women, and then a side for both. And then they had like one time I felt a little uncomfortable. I saw some kids in there, like, but I was just like, all right. But I think the kids maybe wore boxers or something like that. I don't really know. But I went there, I think, every other Sunday, and would just kind of chillax, give my body. And then I met some people there who were like doctors and high stress job people. And they were just like, dude, I have 3 or 4 kids at home. I have so much work to do. But like I come here and I just let my body and my mind just go.
Are people like talking to them, each other and stuff in it?
Sometimes like you can go in there and really just go into the 3 or 4, I think it's like 4 pools, and just let the hydroxin pump, whatever, hit your back and hit your arm and all this stuff and loosen your entire body up. And then there's a place where there's a pool that doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just kind of like, I want to say it's like mineral water. And that's where kind of everybody's just kind of like, oh, we can have a conversation here and whatever. And then in the sauna area, if you want to, you can talk to people. But most people, like, they'll talk a little bit, and then after a while, they're really there just chilling.
Yeah, I like when the gyms had the saunas and stuff like that. I always used to spend like 10-15 minutes in the sauna after my workout, and I hated when people came in naked. 2 things that really annoyed me in the sauna is when people come in all the way naked, and then 2, when they like work out in the sauna.
Ugh. Are they working out in the sauna?
Yeah, it's always old people. They're always like doing like lunges and like stuff like that. I'm just like, dude. relax yourself right now. Like just sit in here. Like,
No, in
Those are
that
the two
sauna,
things.
it was very relaxing. It was very fulfilling, and it felt wonderful. Like, to be honest with you, and it was only $19.
oh wow,
Yeah, it was only $19. You could pay more to get a massage too.
for an hour.
You can go as much as long as you want.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a really good deal then.
Yeah, and then they have massage chairs. Like, if you want to sit in the massage chairs and watch like Korean movies and stuff, it's real dope. They do give you robes for the massage chair area and for the men and women area, but it was something that I did for a few months and would just like I enjoyed the drive to go all the way to Orange County. I'd sit there and talk to myself in the car, and it's a solid hour, and then go in there. One time I went in there for like 4 hours, and then I came out and I was just like, damn, I was in there for a long time. But the rest of the week, I remember like skipping to work. I was like, man, I feel so good. Like, my arms feel good. Everything feels so good. My skin looked good. Everybody was like, wow, your skin looks amazing.
Wow.
You
You watch any of the fights this weekend?
I didn't even know that they were happening until today.
So there was like actual fights, right? The UFC was there, and then there was Shakur Stevenson was fighting boxing, but then there was the TikToker versus YouTube fight.
I saw that. So I think the weekend kicked off with Aaron Carter versus Lamar Odom.
Yeah. Did you watch the clip of that?
I saw the clip of Aaron Carter doing what he got to do to survive.
He didn't survive.
He didn't survive, but I mean, he was like, he really gave Lamar Odom 2 or 3 little punches.
Dude, that was
about
a
it,
mess.
Was it?
Dude, at least the clip that I saw. I didn't watch it, but somebody on Instagram put together this thing. I think it was McDojo Life, this page that I follow that always talks about like fake martial arts and stuff. And it had like this interview that Aaron Carter said that he's like a 2nd-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu or something like that. And then they showed him like in that match with Lamar Odom getting his ass beat. And then it like went to this other clip where he said, I said it wrong. I'm actually not a 2nd-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm like a 6th-degree black belt in like taekwondo or something, like Muay Thai. And like it was just a mess. I mean, everybody's trying to catch this wave that Logan Paul and Jake Paul are doing, but I don't know. I think the TikTok YouTuber thing though was kind of big.
Yeah, I
didn't
saw
know-
a little baby there.
Yeah, I didn't know any of these guys. Like I saw somebody posted up, maybe Academics posted a thing about it.
I seen it all over Instagram today.
And
so
then
I
I
saw
clicked
Austin
on-
McBroom.
Yeah, I clicked on those people. I had no idea who they were, and I was like, "Dang, they have like 7 million followers and stuff like that. Who are they? What are they?"
So Austin McBroom, he's from the Ace family.
The who's?
The Ace family.
What's
on
that?
YouTube. They're I want to say the biggest vloggers on YouTube. They're the biggest.
Like family.
Yeah, they're the
You
biggest.
You knew
family
about them
vlog.
too?
We found out about them together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the same time.
like a year or two ago.
And then I found out my friend is friends with him,
Wow.
with Austin. What's his name?
McBroom.
Sure.
And then who's
Yeah.
the other guy?
And the other guy is there's a girl on TikTok who she's super famous. Her name is Aiden Ray. She does dances. She's like one of the original like white girl dance things on TikTok. That's her ex-boyfriend. And I didn't really know it was happening, to be honest with you. Like I thought it was a TikTok fight. Some people wrote talk. I was like, what? But then I eventually found out it was YouTube versus TikToker. And I guess the ex-boyfriend of Aiden Ray was talking a lot of trash, saying he also said that he has some kind of black belt in this, that, and the third. And Austin Groom punched his face off.
Right. It wasn't close.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't close.
Yeah,
Because I saw the when they were talking beforehand, and Austin said something, and the other kid like went off and like tried like.
Oh, was that the thing I sent you?
Yeah, the way you said.
I thought that was like actual fighters.
No, that
Nah,
was
man,
them.
it got spicy in the press conferences and
Oh,
stuff.
I didn't
They
even
actually
recognize
fought.
that was them.
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
not the one you sent me yesterday.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it was an older one.
Oh, okay.
But he said like one little thing, and the other.
Nah,
kid
this was
went
like a few
off.
weeks ago when they did their press conference. Like they
Yeah.
got into a squabble.
What?
Yeah, they actually fought, and then yeah, I mean, all of this stuff just makes me feel really old because like when you're younger, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna be like my parents and not know like what's going on with the younger generation. But I had no idea. Like,
Yeah, it's not that you're not gonna be able to. It's that there's so much.
Yeah,
that it's hard to catch.
and it's just what like the younger generation's into now is so much. Like I don't understand it. Like I truly am just like that old dude that's like, I don't get it. Like why is this?
Well, the thing is, like, YouTube has a language, right? YouTube has language. The "What's up, guys? Smash the button, subscribe," all that stuff, right? That's like YouTube language, but TikTok is completely different. Like TikTok is a generation of inside jokes, inside of inside jokes, inside of inside jokes, and then you like if you were not present for those inside jokes a year and a half, 2-3 years ago, then you're just completely lost. And then it's like it makes sense because TikTok is still technically brand spanking new, and there's plenty of people that just don't even have the app, and if
like me.
Yeah, like you, some people don't want it for China reasons. Some people don't want it for a reason of like, oh, I just don't want it. I didn't want it. I was just like, this is for kids. And then I got on it and I was like, damn, this app is amazing, right? So it's like if you just don't get into every single app, it doesn't even make you old. It just makes you like, dude, I have things to do.
Right.
Yeah, I get stuck.
And
TikTok.
I get confused about like watching 100 people do the same 30-second dance. Is like, all right, what's that?
Shoot, dances ain't even a thing anymore. I mean, like it
I don't know,
kind of
bro,
is
like,
for like the girls on TikTok. Do you get those?
Right.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like they're dancing, but they're not really dancing.
And
they're
then
just like trying to show you their butt or whatever.
Yeah.
But TikTok is like, it's a very creative place, I would say.
It could be. And then they have that same like where it's like a similar question, and then everybody does their own rendition of it.
They
Oh,
use
yeah,
the same
like-
like sound bites too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's inside jokes inside of inside jokes inside. It's like you really have to pay attention to it. And if you miss something, like waves on TikTok come every month, like month and a half. So if you're not there for the inception of the wave, might as
Unless
well
you're
just-
Soldier Boy, you can start a wave whatever you want to.
I
He
mean,
invented
yes,
the wave.
but he invented the wave. But guess what? It crashed on the shore. Then he got to start another one.
That's true. Which he does.
Well, yeah, I mean, you better believe SODMG is gonna create another wave.
Hey, he is remarkable to me.
Why?
I just the way his mind works, how everything he does turns into something. And just how like I think he's starting to be like a well-respected person because before when he first came out and he was doing all the dance videos and stuff like that, the elder generation was just like, this ain't a rapper. There's like disrespecting him, and he was like, going at everybody that, was saying little things about it. Now he's older, right? And he's actually an OG in the game compared to like these young people. But I think because of who he is as a person, these young guys are still like him and the Sway Lee thing. I thought that was great.
Which Sway Lee thing?
Where they were just doing like the first of everything. Like,
Oh, okay.
And like, those videos that they're going back and forth with. And just like people just being like even Quavo, like there was an interview, I sent it to you on Instagram where he was just like somebody was asking Quavo, like, Soulja Boy was saying he was the first person to introduce you to Travis Scott or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's the truth. And it is just like, yo, Soulja Boy don't lie. Like,
right, yeah. But I mean, my favorite part about Soulja Boy is like, even if he has to be corny about it, he still gets his thing off.
Yeah.
And I like, do you remember like Quavo said he wants some beef with me? You remember that?
Yeah.
Like the guy he keeps going. But the only thing I have with Soulja Boy is that like he creates these massive waves, and then I rarely see the payoff. Like it's not like he's like this time he has the clap 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 song, which is like I'm not even sure if he's still promoting it or not, but every year he just like rises from the ashes, just like Mariah Carey in Christmas time, or like what's the name of the dude? I just haven't met you yet. Michael Bublé. Like every year they're just gonna get out of their casket and come entertain us. Soulja Boy has that ability to do that, but every year I'm just like, what's the thing?
Soulja Boy does a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know about.
I understand that, but sometimes it doesn't necessarily need that level of promotion.
But maybe not. Maybe it does, because it keeps him relevant to keep people working with him.
Okay, that makes sense,
You know
especially
what
as
I mean?
a producer.
Yeah, he does a lot of production stuff. I think he has a lot of brands that pay him to do certain things. Like I remember watching when when we were in Vegas and I was doing the Love and Hip Hop marathon. Like Ray J like was trying to do some bike thing.
Oh,
And he called Soldier Boy to promote it. They made like a Soldier Boy version of
Scooty
it.
bikes.
Yeah, whatever it was. So like
Ray J's another one too for me. Like Ray J, do you know Ray J owns $100 million company?
yeah, the headphones, right?
It's not just that; it's Raycon. It's a tech company.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Raycon has the headphones, but he also had the Scooty bikes. He had just like a variety of options that he was selling. I think the headphones just ended up selling better than everything else.
Yeah.
But the Scooty bikes was his thing at first, and even I wanted a Scooty bike. It was just too expensive.
But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these guys have their hands in multiple different, pots.
Yeah.
And we just don't know about it. Like, and I think that's one thing that as I've gotten older, is realizing, the person with the hottest song that isn't necessarily the person that's making the most money.
Oh, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? It's the person that understands the business. That's why, like, I am a huge fan of 50 Cent, like you are, because I think he has made, a really seamless transition. Obviously, Jay-Z gets a lot of praise for that, Kanye and all this kind of stuff. But probably the most underrated and probably the first, like, super mogul, I would say, is Master P.
I mean, he gets his flowers. But yeah. Yeah. He is. I mean, Master P is all about products right now. And I will say, like, I'm sorry, Master P, I'm not gonna buy your cereal. But
But doesn't he have a lot of does he still have all the shows with Disney and stuff like that?
no, you're talking about Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, I mean, yeah.
That was like 15, 20 years ago.
But he still doesn't have his hands in like certain shows and stuff out there.
I think he was dealing with maybe WeTV for growing up hip hop. But when I met Dame Dash, Dame Dash was saying that was his show. So I really don't know. Like, but I don't think that Master P's really all about entertainment at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get his sneakers off. He's trying to get his rap snacks off. He's trying to get his cereal off. Like his big thing is products. As long as we can sell product, we can make money forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he still has his catalogs and all these other businesses that he's done.
Yeah.
I don't think he's hurting for money.
Nah, he used to be worth $350. Now that we're talking about entertainment, we have to talk about something that's important.
Oh, he took a deep breath.
Why is Kenan Thompson famous?
You talking about Keenan from Keenan and Kel?
Why is he famous? Now, let me start off with this.
Yo.
Seems like a nice guy.
Dude.
Keanu Reeves seems like a nice guy. But
You trying to say you don't understand why Keanu Reeves is famous?
is Keanu Reeves a really good actor?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
You didn't see
the Lake House?
The Lake House? I was about to tell you.
I love the Lake House. You ain't gotta go
Lake
there.
House.
I
You didn't
love
see
the Lake House.
Speed. You didn't see.
Dude, he has two of the biggest movie brands.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean you're a good actor.
I mean, to
Wick
get
1,
him,
2, and
Wick
3.
and
John Wick is amazing.
Matrix 1.
Matrix?
1. I'm only vouching for 1.
Matrix 1 is amazing.
2 and 3. Forget about it.
That also doesn't tell me you're a good actor, though. That doesn't mean you're a good
The
actor.
fact that he
Tom
has,
Cruise
You didn't see
is in
Babes
Mega-
in Toyland.
you didn't see Hardball.
Wait, hold on. We're getting off topic.
Back to Keenan. Back to
Kenan,
Keenan. Sorry.
like I think we gotta stop playing this game of like I saw the strategy of he held up Saturday Night Live for 15 years. No, he didn't. Keenan's show got a season 2, guys.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's royalty.
Get it. I get it. Again, I think he seems like a nice guy, but
Yeah, what is success? Success is right place, right opportunity, where preparation meets opportunity, right?
sure.
So all of the foundation that he laid as a young kid on all that, and Nickelodeon and Keenan and Kel, and going then into like Fat Burger and then Fat Albert and all this kind of stuff, and then making it to Saturday Night Live. At that point, he has a relationship with all of these studios, all of these producers, all of these things, and he's that person that probably has good relationships with all these people. So when they're thinking of, hey, I need this type of role to be cast, who would I want to work with? Somebody who's, talented, who I know will listen to me, or I know we have a good working relationship. And he's tied up with all these guys at NBC. And I'm sure if there was Disney stuff, he could be doing, or Nickelodeon stuff, he could be doing Nickelodeon stuff. So I don't think it's that hard to understand.
He was with the all that reboot.
He was. He was like an executive producer.
Yeah, I think that same way as Nick Cannon.
He just working like anybody else.
Nick is different. Nick is different.
Okay, but I think both of them are a product of being really smart at building good relationships in the industry.
Yeah, but that goes back to my thing of like, I don't think people should get paid for their time. Keenan has not done anything that I understand on a financial level. That's where I'm at. So to me, I'm like, I think that this strategy is wrong because they gave him his own show. The show is horrible. And it's like, I don't necessarily think that helps him. After a while, your good relationships do run dry when you're not making money. Now, people could use George Clooney as an example because they give George Clooney 95 pilot episodes until he became George Clooney. But at the same time, like today, the way things move, how quickly they move, the money got to go from this account to this account that fast. We're not in that day and age anymore. So for me, it's like I would rather see Keenan take a little bit more time and find out a project that really, really works versus them just kind of like, here's the thing. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
But you don't know what Keenan's goals are. Maybe he doesn't want to be an actor past a certain time, and he's just trying to get all the bags that he could get right now, and then you won't hear from him ever again.
Oh, gosh. Imagine that being true.
Why would that be a bad thing? What and also, like, I feel like
it doesn't help.
I feel like you're looking at it saying, "Oh, it's not making money." It's all this. Clearly, a major television production company in NBC felt like it was worth investing in another season.
Okay, so I'm looking at it through multiple lenses. Yes, I'm looking at it a way of like, I'm looking at it as just the quality of the work is just not good. But my next thing is I'm looking at it as like, what does the future look like with this show existing for somebody like me, for somebody like Chris, for somebody like you? And for me, I think like there is unfortunately a pressure on people of color who get these opportunities. And that's why I think like some of the hammer comes down so difficultly on Tyler Perry, because you have all the access in the world to be your best self and you don't showcase that. And I think that hammer falls differently for people of color. White people, I think, like there's just an excess of white people, so they get failed differently. But for me, I look at it in that lens where I'm like, bro, you got to bring your A game, because if you do this right, I could do it right. But when Keenan, the 15-year held up SNL, is just, not to say he is, but he's just collecting bags so he could leave. It's just like, okay, like I don't see the play. I don't see the strategy in that.
But you're looking at it from a strategy of how do we move the culture, the race, or whatever forward as far as the relationship with Hollywood, right? How do I make the next generation it easier for them to like be able to be successful?
Yeah.
And I would say maybe he has done that, right? Because it's the same thing as far as this guy's been in the industry since he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And now he's probably in his late 30s?
Yeah. I think he's in his 40s, man.
40s? Yeah. So wait, we're talking about 3 decades? So to see there and be like he could do anything that would make it harder for black people to be in the industry, I think that's kind of unfair for somebody who's probably broken down so many barriers to be like, yeah, he went from a kids television network where he was an ensemble cast of him mixed with a whole bunch of other people to now he then became a co-lead in a show to then being a star in a movie to then being on another ensemble cast, right? Resetting himself where he was bottom of the totem pole and then built himself back up to be the star of his own show that just got his second season. I mean, how are you looking at that and being like, that's going to make it harder for me as Kelby to be able to get into a show?
Here's why. Because I don't think because you worked, that means that it's an accomplishment. Sorry, I just don't. I think that if you have a nice career, there are things you have to do in that first decade, in the first 2 decades, to showcase that you are who you say you are. But then when you have the power to be who you are, then different decisions have to be made. That's how I see it.
Well, maybe you're holding him to a different standard. He's looking at it like, what I'm doing right now has given me the ability to be in the industry for 3 decades. Not only paying my bills, but have given me and my family a lifestyle that I could only have dreamed of.
Understandably so. I get that. But when you're at that position now where you can make these executive choices, I just want more.
Yeah, but that you're putting on him maybe something that he's not built for. He's looking at it like, dude, your critique of him, he'd look at it and be like, well, what are you doing different? I'm here. What are you doing? What have you done?
Well, that's true. And I think...
And so for somebody to look at him and be like, dude, you're doing it wrong. He's going to be looking at you and like, well, I'm doing it. What are you doing?
It's not about... It's not necessarily that he's doing it wrong. I don't want to put that like he's doing it wrong.
For me, started this off saying that, how is he even famous?
Still famous, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that's you insinuating that he's not doing it right.
No, that's not it. I'm just saying the cookies don't crumble the way that I'm getting it. Like, I just don't understand it. But what I'm saying is, it's just like the story. Did you guys hear the story about the guy who made $30,000 and he spent $20K on a chain? And he got like for me, it's like when I hear a story like that, I'm like, okay, when you have this power, like this power of money now, you can make different choices. And I think for Keenan, like I respect the hustle. Like I do understand it, but the brother, you got bags already. So like I think that ultimately when you see that video of the guy who spent the $20K on the chain, the comments are flooded with, I want better for my people.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying to him. All I'm saying is, bro, at this point, if you have that relationship with NBC where they want to put your face in front of a TV show and your name on that, make a couple demands.
But that's what I'm saying. You're asking him maybe to be built in a different way than he's actually built. And so what I'm saying, do you remember that in the movie Ray, where Jamie Foxx playing Ray was talking to that woman that ends up being like one of his wives or whatnot, and he was talking about why he sings like other people. So he's talking that he's mimic other artists and do music like that. And the guy that was working with him was like, I need you to find your own voice and all this kind of stuff. And so he's talking about this conversation. He's like, I'm a blind man and this pays the bills. What if nobody wants to hear what I actually sound like? And so she was like, well, if you're as talented as you are, something along the lines of, because of your talent, you have the choice to be whatever you want to be, kind of like what you're saying.
That's
right?
Exactly what I'm saying, yeah.
And that is if you're as talented as a Ray Charles, as a Jamie Foxx, as a Denzel Washington.
So you're saying he's not talented
I'm saying maybe he doesn't think he's not built the same way, where he's like,
well, then I'm challenging him.
And yeah, then that's fine. And maybe he's like, maybe
his wife.
Maybe he's afraid, or maybe he doesn't have the confidence, or maybe he knows himself well enough to be like, this is the role that I could play and get paid doing. If I try to branch out and be something else, I know I'm not good enough to be able to have the same success. So why not me play the same character that I know my audience is going to connect with? I know that I'm going to be able to make money with, and so on and so forth.
Have you guys seen the show?
No, I haven't.
No, okay. So it's not really an acting problem. It's not. It's a foundational writing problem. The show is very lazily, sloppily, horribly written. And for me, again, I'm coming back to say, like, look, when I do something and my name is attached to it, again, it's about compensating myself for doing my best work. I don't think that there's a problem challenging a guy who's in that position who, whether you know it or not, you're affecting everybody else, right? You have the power to put other people on the show who look like you. You have the power to honestly create new streams of wealth. If you look at Insecure, that girl, Yvonne Orji, she's doing her own thing now. And that's off of a show that a girl started on YouTube. And it's like, that is the power of what happens when you give it your all. And for me, I just can't accept that's all I'm good at. Like, no, it's not. You could play the same character, but you have all the ability in the world to see a script and say, dude, this is bad. And it is.
But is he? You're talking about, so think about everything he's done.
Yes.
All that ensemble show, not necessarily meant like the best writing. It's meant to just riff off, right? Comedy, they're throwing things back and forth. They're improvising and all this kind of stuff, right? Then he goes to Keenan and Kel. Once again, not necessarily the best written show. It's more based off of their friendship and so on and so forth. Like, I can't even think of a storyline in Keenan and Kel, to be honest. It was one of those just like whatever. Mm-hmm. Then he goes to Saturday Night Live. Once again, you know, not so much built off of the writing, more built off of the chemistry between and riffing and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So this is like the first major, you know, NBC where it's like a sitcom and all this kind of stuff.
Throw your weight on.
But maybe he doesn't have, that's what I'm saying. He's not as experienced in this. He's experienced in the industry, and maybe he's just like, all right, maybe he's just going with whatever, like other people say, because he doesn't have the confidence that he knows how to write a show or whatever it is. Maybe, I don't know.
When your name is on the show, like everybody loves Raymond. When your name is on the show, you have power. The show is called Kenan. When Raymond did his show, the brother knew what he wanted. When King of Queens was out, Kevin James knows what he wants. When your name is the show, ain't no I'm scared, I'm this, I'm that. Do your best. You know why? Because all the other folk can fail and they'll get another one. But when they look at you, it happened to Lance Gross. Lance Gross had a show on NBC, and then it failed. And then when was the last time you saw a black guy's face on there on the lead? It doesn't happen all the time. I think that's the thing. It's like, I don't care about how you feel. Honestly, I don't care if you feel like you're just not good enough or whatever. Your name is on the show. So try harder.
I mean,
but it got a season 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the audience must think it's not horrible. Right?
I think that this is what happened with Community. Like, Community got a season 2, and the season 1 was not good. Like, I watched season 1, but then season 2 all of a sudden ramped up. Everybody loves the show. Yeah, I want to say this with the hopes that, dude, you got a second season. You got an opportunity. Try harder.
And it's NBC, right?
Yeah.
Isn't NBC the same one that had that Lily Singh show on? Or was that a different?
They do, but it's a late night.
Yeah. So Lily Singh, I think, show's terrible, and she got a second season too. So maybe they're not going off of just. Maybe it's just kind of what's it called, where it's like you've already paid into it with sunken cost.
Yeah.
So they're just like, we got to keep going. So I don't know, like.
Wait, what is her show?
The Late Night with Lily Singh or whatever. It's like a late night show,
and she's bad.
Oh my god, it's terrible. I think it's terrible.
I never seen it.
There's videos about how terrible it is online.
Really?
Yeah.
Is she Tyra Banks bad? Season 1 Tyra Banks?
No, it's just like woke comedy. Like she got all female and women of color writers and stuff like that.
Well,
and then
bad.
and then but no, that's not what's bad. But it's like every single episode is pointing at that fact that I'm a biracial, bisexual woman of color. All my writers are women. All our writers are women of color. You know, like it's just like everything is pointing out the wokeness of it. And I don't know if she's still on, if they're still doing it or whatever. I just remember like watching so many YouTube videos about people just going at her. And
Well, question for you actually: is Lily Singh biracial and bisexual?
no, she's bisexual, woman of color.
She's Indian though, right?
Yeah,
Like
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh, interesting. I thought. Oh, wow, it's kind of a shock to me.
that she's what?
She sucks. Yo, put pressure on these people, man. I don't care how you feel. Put pressure on them. Yo, Tyler Perry, do better. I see new Medea coming out. It better be funny, bro.
It better be fun. It better not be like Boo 2.
Boo 1 and Boo 2 was pretty bad. But I did enjoy Fall from Grace. I
from
seen
Grace.
that about 8 times.
The
I
one that
love
I've
that
seen
one.
about 1,000 times is Daddy's Little Girls. I've seen that about
I
1,000
don't know
times.
why you watched
I don't know
Daddy's
why.
Little Girl.
Well, because
1,000
it
times.
shows up on TV.
TBS.
Yeah,
Something like
TBS.
that.
You be flipping channels. Like, oh shit! Oh, I know this movie.
Yeah. Daddy's Little Girl is a good one. I really enjoyed the first one. With
What's the
Kimberly Elise.
one where Medea tells the girl to slap the dude in the face with the hot pan?
That ain't all of them.
Oh no, there's a specific one.
I don't know, man.
She was like, you know what I
Medea goes
used
to
to
jail?
do? I used to cook my man a meal and serve it hot, extra hot in the pan.
Oh,
And
that's
if
the
he
first
talked
one.
back,
That's the
I just
first
hit him in the
one.
head with a pan.
That's the first one.
Is it?
The one with Kimberly Elise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, the first one. The first one that they ever made.
I was gonna say
You like that one.
where the husband beats the wife, but that's all of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's always domestic violence.
The
in these
light
movies.
skinned husband with some weird braids, and then the dark skinned brother comes. What's up, baby?
Yeah.
And look, I don't think that we should be looking at Hollywood to make the type of changes that you want to see in society.
Oh no, that is not what I want. It's not about changing society. I just want people who do their jobs to do their best at their job.
Sure.
I don't really need to Hollywood to raise me as a child. I would just prefer, like, if you guys, because honestly, like, as a person who came here to be in the business and things like that, like, I care about quality. Like, I'm not an extreme watcher, but I keep referencing this. When I saw that movie with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube, Cop Out 2, and his mouth was moving, there was no dialogue, I was just like, bro, come on, like, Ride along too. To me, I was just like, it doesn't have to be the greatest in the world, but just care a little bit, you know. And I like Kevin Hart. He's not the funniest guy in the world to me, but I support him and I want him to win. But it's like, just care. You guys have millions of dollars. There's no excuse for things to
I
be
think
like.
the problem was they wanted quantity over quality. They wanted
That's
to
not
put
good.
Kevin Hart in 30,000 different things.
Yeah.
Every month was a new Kevin Hart movie.
Yeah.
But after the third one, they all sucked. They were all shitty.
Yeah.
And that also is like growing pains too, right? So a lot of times when you've been working to be successful for so long and then you finally get all these opportunities, you don't realize like how hard it actually is, right?
Yeah.
To juggle all of those things. And, you know, we're judging finished products, not knowing the process that all went in, all of the things that happen behind the scenes that maybe, you know, the pressures and all that kind of stuff. Just gotta hope that because and all again, you know, it's all subjective, subjective, not objective, right? So
Right.
you know, people are gonna look at maybe stuff that we've put out or movies that you've put out or stuff that I've put out or whatever, and look at that and be like, dude, that's terrible.
Of
and
course.
probably give the same thing, like, why didn't you do better? Like, you should try harder. But in your mind, you're like, dude, I tried my best, you know?
I
And
get
so
that.
like, so it could also be that, like, where you're like, dude, you should be trying harder. Maybe it's just like a difference in opinion about what you feel like is good or what you feel like is bad.
See, my thing is, I don't give the same opinion for things that I know are difficult. Like, if my friend showed me a short film and there was like something in there that's just technically like, I get it. Like, you made a short film on $2,000. There's nothing you could do. Like, but if your budget is $15 million, yo, bro, like, come on now. Like, care a little bit, and either it's the production company or it's a distributor, whatever it is. I just think that like when you're at the very high, like nobody says a player in the NBA, like if they come out like J. Cole, right? If J. Cole played in the NBA, no one is just going to be like, well, it's fine, right? Like no one is going to do that. Everyone's going to be like, dude, this is the highest level of this thing.
Right.
And we're not going to just let you pass because you're famous. And no one's going to care because people are watching these games because they are extremely competitive at the highest level. And that's just how I'm seeing it. When you're at the highest level, act like it.
And maybe the highest level is different because we put like, oh, NBC sitcom means that it's the highest level. Well, is it anymore? Because
financially, yes.
Financially, but are they is NBC putting out the best quality work? Like, what's the last show on NBC that you look at?
But that's not an excuse. That just says like that just proves me right. That just essentially says like, dude, you guys are the legacy network.
But I think isn't that already everybody like the shows on Prime, the shows on Netflix, the shows on HBO Max, HBO, like those are all. Like whenever people talk about the greatest shows of all time, they're either really old shows, like people may put Seinfeld and might put like Friends or Everybody Loves Raymond, all that kind of stuff, or even further back than that, or they're like HBO shows, or they're like things on Netflix, things on Prime. Nobody's talking about today, right now. There's a show that's going on that's like the greatest show of all time that's on NBC or ABC.
Man, you ain't thinking about what Stabler's gonna do, huh? Stabler out here doing things, huh? No, the thing is, like, the difficult part about that is networks have a different rules that they have to play by.
Right.
Like, it's obvious. So, their growth is stunted, which is why I think
because of ads, right?
No, not because of ads, because of the FCC.
Yeah.
So, my thing is like, for so many years, for so many decades, you have been able to be creative enough to surpass it. This is a game of creativity. So I just don't give a pass to like, oh, we have all this blah, blah, blah. Nobody freaking cares. Like nobody cares. So just when you guys hire writers and stuff like that, like when Tyler Perry was saying work ethic, I write all of my scripts. The response is like, bro, you don't have to. You could offer so many creative people opportunities that will grow your business, that will grow your quality, that will allow you to put better things out. So it's like, it's nice that you know how to type, but is it good? Is it quality? Is that something that's going to create sustainability? So if he came out and he said, well, the thing, but nobody cares. Nobody cares about what the problem is. When you're at the highest level, act like it.
Yeah, but I don't. There's the people that get to a certain super high level, and then on top of that have the mentality or the character to be like, I also want to use this power to make more opportunities for everybody else in the industry as well. Those are very few and unique people. That's not everybody's mentality.
It has to be because that is how it grows.
It doesn't have to be. At the end of the day, that's a characteristic. Like we're talking about, that's just not a characteristic in most people in general.
Yeah, but okay. This is why I say it has to be. Jay-Z has that line where he said, Ye made millions, I made millions, Dame made millions. Beans to tell you if he wasn't in his feelings. What he's saying right there is your success is not success until somebody else touches it too.
Sure.
And ultimately, there's nobody that is creating things all by themselves. Nobody. Good luck if that's who you think you are. So my thing is, it may not even have to be I'm a good person and I'm going to help other people make it. It's not about that. It's realistically about playing this game to last.
And that's where I go back to Kelby. You can't look at Keenan and say he's not that dude. Because he's lasted longer than most other people in the same scenarios. And
he could do it better
in your world, but he also is done better than 95% of people that are ever been in the industry. So like, it's like it's like, it's kind of like outside looking in, like being like, oh, but you could do better, versus being like, dude, how many people have ate because of him? How many people have gotten jobs because of him? How many people have, been able to create a life because of him, because of everything that he's done? So to be like, oh, but you still should be doing more. Okay, you could say that, but then you also have to be like, well, he's also.
I'm not wired that way. For me, it's just I think that there is power in challenging these people to be the best that they have to be. Just like when we were talking about the Migos earlier on, like they had this really good conversation with academics where he was like, yo, look, y'all are famous and stuff, and y'all could put out whatever. You could put out moaning if you want to, and people will listen to it. Some people will like it, some people won't. But the ultimate truth is you always have to bring your A game. It's not about you already being there. Congratulations on what you've already done. But what you've already done and what you've done lately and what you're about to do are three completely different things. So for me, it's like, congratulations, you are who you are. But at this point, I don't think there's a problem with challenging people to grow beyond what they've already done. Grow beyond it. I like the guy. He seems like a good guy, but I wanted to take it to the next level. And I don't accept any of that. Like, well, I've already done. Who freaking cares?
His career. All the people that have been able to eat because of him. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I also think there's a lot of hate in it. There's a lot of haterish. It's bitterness and haterism. Not bitterness, because I know you're not bitter, but it's like it seems like you're doing it from you're coming off like you're doing it as like, yo, challenging him and all this kind of stuff, but it also is, I think, diminishing the guy too by being like, dude, you could be doing better. And I'm like, dude, he's doing great. Like, he just got a second season of his own show.
I want to see it be better.
Okay, but also you can't sit there and be like, dude, you're doing it wrong. That's like...
I'm not saying he's doing it wrong. Again, I've said that already. But what I'm saying is I just want it better. I just see it from a different perspective. That's just all I'm saying. I'm not hating on the guy, but I will say, like...
And once again, it started off by saying, how is this guy still famous? So that is a hater remark.
No, it's not. Okay. Because the thing is, it just doesn't seem like he's putting the work in. That's what it feels like.
But what I'm saying, once again, and this is coming from, and I think this is like a deeper thing that like, it's stuff like why Kwame Brown got famous, right?
Okay.
So Kwame Brown has come out and, because in his channel it's called Kwame Brown Bust Life. Because his whole thing was, for 20 years, people were calling him a bust. And by saying those type of things, you diminish this man to where he's just like a caricature of what he is. And then he's coming out now and being like, dude, how could I be a bust when I came from somebody who didn't have any shoes to being able to change my whole family tree zip code, put my mom on a golf course at the age of 18. And then I made $65 million in the league. I've been able to help out my community in this way, help out children in this way, blah, blah, blah. But in your mind, I'm still a bust because I didn't play basketball the way that you wanted me to play basketball. So you look at, when what I'm saying is like, it's only a thing like it seems like a certain type of person where it's like, he had this 30-year-old career. I'm talking about Keenan now. He got his own sitcom, a second season, and then instead of being like, dang, he's doing really good, it's like, you're not doing good enough. And to me, I'm like, dude, that diminishes everything that he's done to go through. Okay.
The difference between what people say about Kwame Brown and what I'm saying about Keenan is they're saying Kwame Brown, first of all, I don't think they're saying Kwame Brown is a bust in his life. They're not saying that. I think everybody is recognizing that the guy played X amount of seasons in the NBA. The thing is, they're probably saying he's a bust because when he came in, he had a lot of hype and he didn't live up to the hype. Understandably so. So if that's what happened, like if Zion came in and he was horrible 20 years from now, they might say, oh, he was a bust. Yes, you are successful. Yes, you went and did all these amazing things outside of basketball, but in the game of basketball, you just didn't live up to the expectations, which is fine. No one is talking about you as a person. For me, it's not about saying like Keenan is not successful. What I'm saying is you are successful. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. And again, I'm comparing it to the fact that like Keenan, whether he wants to or not, does not only represent himself. He just doesn't. So unfortunately, you're going to have to put your A game and bring it every single time. And I only want to challenge you to bring it in order for everybody else to have the opportunity that you got. Yes, you're successful and we're happy to see that. But at the same time, I would like to see that done in a way that shows that you really care about this. That's all I'm saying. In your personal life, congratulations.
I think it's a lot of conjecture because you're putting a lot in saying, oh, he doesn't care. Oh, like, why is he even famous right now? Oh, like, you're not trying hard enough. Like, these are your assumptions without ever talking to the man, without ever doing research into what he's actually doing and all this kind of, it's just you on the outside looking in, and you have a right to your opinion.
I just don't understand that because it's work that comes out and it's to be reviewed. It's to be seen. It's for people to have opinions. So why do I have to praise a guy because he's found a certain form of success?
I don't think you should have to praise him. I think that we have to be careful about the way that we criticize as well, though. To say to somebody, why are you still famous? Or to say somebody you don't care or you don't try hard enough.
Don't seem like you do.
Okay, well, and I'm saying somebody that's had a 30-year long career, maybe the way that he cares, the way that he tries, the effort that he puts in, maybe people can learn from. Because obviously he's been able to sustain a career in some place where others with the same skin complexion, with the same, circumstances, so on and so forth, have been able to have that type of career, so on and so forth. So to say that this guy doesn't care, I'm not saying he doesn't care at all. All I'm saying is I just want to see a little bit more work. That's all I'm saying. Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
You want to see a better product, or you want it to be more along the lines of what you think is good. And that's all fine. What I say, and like I said, this is all maybe trigger or whatever for me understanding as well. Like, I don't want to go out and just smash a dude or like smash the dude's character, talk bad.
Didn't do that.
Yeah, you did. You said, why is this dude famous? You said he doesn't care enough. He doesn't try hard enough. All of these things are character flaws that you're talking about a dude based off of you not liking the product that he's put out. You said that he's not trying hard enough, which basically saying he's lazy. You saying he doesn't care enough, which saying whatever that says. Mm-hmm. These are character things. These aren't, dude, you could, and the thing that you said, yo, I wish the writing was a little bit better. All right, cool. That's like okay, get the writing wasn't funny enough, or I didn't like the flow or whatever it is. But when you start saying, why is this dude famous?
I mean, that was a joke, but okay.
Okay, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, these jokes go out there and they start putting a caricature on people. Like, the joke goes out and this ends up becoming like what Keenan is thought of, right? The bust of whatever, Kwame is a bust, that stemmed to 20 years later, people are still making jokes about the man as a human, right? That's flowed into Charlemagne bringing up all this kind of stuff, people, all this kind of, so to say that it's just a joke, well, those jokes can take a life of their own when we keep putting that stuff out in the atmosphere.
Okay, let me ask you this. When it comes to criticism,
yeah,
of the things that people do and something you're passionate about, something you care about, something that you think is important to you.
Yes.
Okay. If somebody criticizes you, and I guess they may take it to that point, maybe beyond a level of criticism, beyond a level of constructiveness. Mm-hmm. That doesn't do something to you to change your actions?
Does it change my actions when somebody criticizes my character?
Maybe, yeah.
No. It makes me think different of that person. It makes me be like, why are you, like, what do you know about me to criticize my character? Criticize my work, sure. Like, if you think that I'm not doing...
I've said about Keenan has been in relation to his work.
Yeah,
so but I'm not understanding. No,
that's what I'm saying. When you said, like I said, when you say the writing wasn't good, that's a criticism of the work. When you're saying this dude doesn't care, he doesn't try hard enough. These are things where it's like, all right, there's a difference between not trying hard enough and maybe not like maybe not having, this is his first sitcom on his own, right? Maybe there's things that, you know, need to be learned. It's like, but saying you don't try hard enough is like, you don't care. You don't care. And then it spawned into you represent way more. So now you're not doing enough for your people, like is the insinuation and all these kind of things. That's a lot to go off of just, 1 year of a show that wasn't as funny as you wanted it to be. Let's look at season 2 and let's be like,
but that's what I'm saying.
No, but you can't say you don't care. You're not, you don't try hard enough.
It feels like you don't care. I think, I don't know. I'd have to go back. But my thing is like, to me, I am just criticizing the work, you know, and when you see the work, like it's like a car. If you buy a car and it doesn't work properly, you could kind of say like, it kind of feels like these people didn't care. And I'm not saying that Keenan does not care about the work. All I'm saying is on this particular thing that he's doing, it just doesn't seem like he's giving it 100%. That's ultimately what I'm saying.
Or it could be he's just not a great manager of like a show. He needs to learn how to be better at managing the writing, managing, you know, the production, managing all this kind of stuff. It's also his first time where he's on the thing as a executive producer, doing everything, the star, all that kind of stuff. That's a lot.
It is. But the way I see it, unfortunately, and maybe I'm jaded and I'm not supposed to say these things, but I see it again as you're at the very highest level of the work that we are all in. And for me, it's like it has to represent something. Like that's just what I'm saying. It has to represent something. I understand that other people kind of see it in that way where like you're allowed these opportunities to learn and grow and this and that and all that kind of thing. But for me, I see it a little bit more cut and dry than that. I see it like if you're going to come to something, maybe if you knew that, maybe don't take it that route right now. If you feel like you're not quite ready or if you don't have the capability of doing that, like bring your A game every single time. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to challenge his character. I don't want to say like he doesn't care as a person. Again, I'm very happy for the guy. And I was joking around and say like, why is he still famous? But again, I'm bringing it up in that joke just to say like, hey, when people see us, they criticize us differently. That's all I'm saying. So why you're not bringing everything to this, it just doesn't compute to me. And again, for you don't see it the same way I do because I came out here to do this. Like
right.
That's exactly what I came. So my example of basketball is exactly that. If somebody goes to the league and they just don't deserve it, you start feeling funny about them. Like, well, what are they doing there? All right, this is it. Last leg of the podcast.
We back.
Yeah, we bike. So the neighbor came in, right? Neighbor came in.
Nah, I think it was just the pizza man.
We was fighting them.
3 guns on him. I was like, yo, put them gun down. Over here, we boom, boom.
That's
With
right.
the fist.
Go ahead.
We
Describe
boom,
it.
Boom, boom. And he was like, I ain't put my gun down. Nah,
That's
hell
facts.
nah.
That's facts.
I was like, you know what? Walk right on up to him and flip the gun around. Bam. Beat him with the back of the
He
gun.
tried to speak English right there. You hear that? he said, "All right,
That sounded like Culture
right
3.
now."
It did sound like a Migos song right now.
That's how the Atlanta boys be talking. Wait up. Hey, did you see, I ain't see, but Bree was on Chad Ochocinco's Instagram today.
Doing what?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
she was dancing.
That makes sense.
At what?
It's some place in Atlanta.
Let's
Nice.
It was
go,
like her and a bunch of other girls, yeah.
Let's
Let's go.
go, Bree.
Yeah, she sent it to me. I was like, dang, you are so nice that you let Chad Ochocinco hang out with you and
Yeah.
take videos. Like, clearly he was starstruck and you were just so kind to just like, you could film.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ocho Cinco is, if I was ever a celebrity, I'd want to do it like Ocho Cinco does it.
Is he like super cool?
Super cool. The coolest, I think.
Really?
He actually interacts with people on Twitter. Like he'll do like maybe like a few weeks ago he was in Florida. He needed a ride from the airport or to the airport, so he put on his social media. He's like, anybody that could pick me up and take me to the airport, I'll pay him $1,000. And then he sent the picture. He took a picture of the person that drove him to it. Some white dude gave him $1,000. He's also the guy that'll like he'll randomly give like a certain tip like based off of something that's going on. Like he's like $888. I scored 88 touchdowns in my career, something like that. Like, and he'll put like it'll be like a $50 meal. He'll give $1,000 tip and just random stuff like that. And then he's like one of the most fit people ever in history. We saw him, just box the other day, and his favorite place to eat is McDonald's.
Man, yeah, he said something about like if they just let me have my McDonald's, I wouldn't have failed or something like that.
Dude, he's at the gym eating burgers and stuff and like getting it. It's
That's
just
amazing.
he's just like a really cool dude, super funny. He used to do these things where people would be like they'll at him and he'll be like, at Ocho Cinco, spot the flaw, and it'd be like, those airbrushed like Instagram photos that people will post up, and like everybody's just seeing like the girl and the fat ass and the beauty and all this kind of stuff, and he'd be like, spot the flaw, and he'd be like, dude, she needs to wash the dishes, because the dishes would be like in the sink and like things that people would miss, and then he'd just be like, spotting the flaws. Hilarious. He's just really
married?
He's with that girl, the real estate agent that was at the fight.
I'm about to get me a real estate agent.
Yo, and it's hilarious. Like he'll put like every 2 weeks he'll post something that's be like, thank you to all the girls that curved me, because if it wasn't for you, I would have never found this woman. Like
Wow.
it's like that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I'm
about to get me a Mexican middle name.
A Latin.
Go ahead.
No, middle name.
Kelby,
What's it gonna be?
Juan.
Joaquin.
I know, because like sometimes I tell myself at the gym, like, come on, man, you could do this. You're the Juan.
Do you have a middle name?
Yeah.
You have a middle name?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, we'll have to make it Hispanic.
Yeah, definitely. And then I start saying things like, oh, man.
You already say that.
Yeah. You see how Juan works then, huh?
Yeah.
Kelby Juan.
Nah, it's gotta be like Kelby Guadalupe.
Wow.
Maria
Lupita.
Salvador. Yeah.
Joseph.
Santo Domingo.
Yo, imagine if Chris had like a really white middle name, and his name was like Chris.
Pringle.
That's stupid. Chris.
Yeah. Hey, so should we talk about stuff?
Yeah. Let's go
see.
for it real quick.
What do I got on my list? You got everything off on your list?
Shoot, I don't even remember what my list was at this point. There
Yo,
was something.
so my question to you is, are the Brooklyn Nets thirsty?
Oh man, it's a drought in California, so I'm sure that affects all the other states. I heard about homegirl roads or something like that. Yeah.
So there's a couple of stories that came out about prominent Brooklyn Nets players who seem to. I think they just actually lost to Milwaukee again. So that series is tied 2-2, and Kyrie and Harden are both out. So. Anyways, but we're not talking basketball. We're talking about the players. So a story came out where Lana Rhoades. Do you know who Lana Rhoades is?
I just learned about her today. So she's a porn star?
Porn star, former porn star. Chris, do you know who Lana Rhoades is?
Who's the singer that's Lana?
That's Lana
Del Rey or
Del
something?
Vato.
Oh,
Lana
Really?
Del Rey, I think.
Del Rey.
Yeah.
Okay, two
Anyways,
different
Lana
people.
Rhoades
Anyway.
is a former porn star. When she was a porn star, she was like number one on.
I know
like,
Lana Rhoades. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So but I think she's transitioned out of being a porn star, and now
She
she's.
said it's so nice. She's actually transitioned out of that
Hey
role.
man, whatever you got to do to make it, man.
She's putting her
No,
head
because she was dating Logan
She's
Paul's
grown.
best friend, Mike Majek, for a while.
Oh,
and
shit.
then they were doing like vlogs together and stuff like that. And I think she still has an OnlyFans, so she's not all the way out of porn. But
Okay.
anyways, so she put out this thing over social media saying that basically not naming a player, but saying things like they play in New York. They're basketball. I went out on a date with a basketball player that's in New York, and then put out that he's like a certain sign. So I think it was like Virgo or something. So, obviously the internet is the biggest detectives in the world. So they went to all of the Knicks players, all of the Brooklyn Nets players, which are the two NBA teams in New York. And they found that the only person that fit this criteria happened to be Kevin Durant. Okay. So now Lana, I was about to say Lana Del Rey too, but Lana
confused you,
Rhoades
sorry.
also put out that this basketball player invited another girl to the date as well and was trying to get a menagerie going on. All right. So,
I don't think those are
Demon
menageries.
season. City boys up.
right. So basically, that it came out, and people on ESPN were talking about all this kind of stuff. Nothing is like, nobody said Kevin Durant's name.
Right.
This is just the internet trying to piece together things. Kevin Durant hasn't come out and, said yes or no either way, because Kevin Durant's somebody that just doesn't like the media in general anyways. Mm-hmm. And then, so that went on. And then 50 Cent put out recently that James Harden, another player on the Brooklyn Nets, supposedly cash apped $100,000 to Sweetie to go out on a date with her.
Okay, I have an opinion on this.
But first, just to give the full story. Mm-hmm. Or wait, let's give your opinion and then I'll tell you what happened after.
Harden ain't do that. What he actually did was he sent like 10 grand on Zelle, because everybody knows you can't send 100,000 on Cash App, but that 2,500 to 10 grand on Zelle, no big deal. He was like, "Yo, Sweetie, what's your number?" She was like, "Oh, okay, send it through," and she just bloop, 10 grand. And as soon as Quavo took the Bentley back, she was like, "Damn, I'm gonna need some money to pay for this Hellcat. Let's do it.
That down payment you say was Harden?
Listen, man.
So Harden came out and said, "Y'all crazy. Why would I like who I am? Why would I pay $100,000 for it?"
Exactly. He didn't. He paid 10
because he was physically incapable.
Yeah, but there was too much on the Cash App limit.
Why 50 Cent going at Harden like that?
50 Cent goes at everybody. That's the one thing I love.
But I don't know 50 Cent to make up stuff though.
He just repost stuff.
Okay, but I feel like most of the stuff that he does is like actual like truth to it.
Nah, he do be reposting. He definitely does. Like, I've seen him repost things from the Shade Room. I've seen him repost things from academics. There's that dude James Jefferson, whatever. He be reposting him sometimes. Like, sometimes he hears a rumor and he'll just go with it. Like, my favorite thing, actually, this is not anything to do with anything, but I think the Knicks lost, and 50 Cent is in Texas. And he goes, like, they lost the game, and he goes, "Damn, that's crazy. Luckily, I'm from Houston." Can't believe they lost that game, but oh well, I'm not a New Yorker. Yeah, 50 Cent.
He lives in Texas now?
He's down there shooting a movie or a TV show or something like that, yeah. So, I don't know how these rumors get out, but there's some truth to it.
You think Harden and Sweetie are dating?
No. Harden has a reputation.
Yeah, for being in strip clubs.
Yeah, strip clubs and
big booty women.
Yeah, like, come on. And I think that Harden at some point in his life, like, couldn't get girls. Like, I looked at them before the beard pictures, and I was just like,
yeah, but he's always been from LA and a baller, like a hooper.
I get that. I get that. And most
what hooper did you know in high school that couldn't get women?
The ones that had no personality.
I don't know, man.
There was a couple in my school where it was like, okay, you look good, but you have trouble with women, but you're very dedicated to the sport. So when the sport pays off, then everything comes along with it. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, James Harden kind of gives me that, where he seems like he's a cool dude amongst guys, but like, I can't necessarily see cool, suave James Harden who's like, "Yo, let me get this girl. I need to talk to this shorty real quick." Like,
I don't know.
I think he's right there next to Joe at Starlets.
Yo, I think James Harden has his jersey retired in one of these strip clubs in Houston.
See?
Makes sense. I don't think that necessarily means it's because he doesn't have game. I think when you're at that level, you
don't need game.
No, it's not. Not only don't you need game, but like, you're looking for something different. Like, I think guys that are at that level that still pay for stuff is because they have certain expectations with that.
I agree.
And so it's easier because it's just a transactional thing where they don't have to deal with all of the emotions of if it was just
for sure
another thing. So I think they pay for that aspect because they're targets. Yeah. So at the end of the day, they'd rather use their popularity, money, and all this kind of stuff to get out of situations or like to evade situations versus if you just randomly find somebody that's not like in those circles. Now this person might want it to be deeper than
exactly.
So
I agree with that too.
So I don't know if I could sit here and be like James Harden doesn't have game. I don't
know if he does or if he doesn't, but to me, he doesn't give me the smooth, suave guy. But at the same time, like, I could see him sending Sweetie, yo, here's 2,500. I mean, he's trying to have a good night. The rest will come in a check. I could see it. I could see it.
That wire transfer, boy.
Kevin Durant, I don't know, like he kind of comes off to me as like a freaky dude, but at the same time, like not, because he has this stone coldness to him that like when we hear him speak, it's like over the ledge, like he did with Michael Rappaport, or he's just like don't give you no information at all. So I could see that too,
And I also think that
brother just gotta brush his hair.
a lot of these guys just the unfortunate part is what you are depicted as to the masses really has to do with your level of media, like how you deal with the media. So Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden are people who don't seem like people that like to be interviewed a lot. Kawhi Leonard. So
James Harden looks like Reggie Watts.
Who's Reggie Watts?
It's the dude with a big afro that sings wild things. He's a comedian. I'm gonna show you him and you go.
I don't think you could like compare somebody less famous to somebody that's like
no.
super famous.
Reggie Watts is pretty.
It's like
no, but he's famous in the Chris world. Like Chris be known.
He's famous.
Is he tattooed
No, but
on
that's
you?
what I'm saying. Like,
Reggie Watts is tattooed on your leg.
How about y'all shut the hell up?
yo, Chris getting that
Like
tattoo.
Reggie Watts. You know
man.
who Reggie Watts is?
Oh, no.
All right.
He looks. That looks like David Diggs.
Yeah, but if he was fat and crazy.
But so I just thought that was interesting that like all this stuff was coming out within weeks of each other, all on the same team. It seems kind of like
I think they're bored. Like they're such a good team that it's just like, whatever.
well, it makes it seem it just seems like a certain type of player. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about what's going on, but yeah, it's just weird and random.
Every year it's something with these guys.
Right.
I appreciate it. Just brush your hair, Kitty. Just brush it one time for the culture. Just brush
man.
it. Just put a comb through it. Just
He's all natural. And then the other thing was I saw a new verses that's coming out. I don't know if you're gonna if you're interested or not, but Eve versus Trina.
all right. Who you got?
This is interesting because they're two completely different type of rappers, right? So Eve was never into the whole like sexual rapping and all that. Eve like was just like Rough Riders. I'm gonna be about these lyrics and I'm gonna put out this music and so on and so forth. But I don't think Eve has as many bangers as Trina does, because Trina put out that Atlanta like booty shaking music. Like Trina was talking about I could sleep with all you and your best friends, and I got the big fattest ass and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I think more people are gonna know Trina songs than they know Eve songs.
That's true. Eve won at life though.
Yeah.
Like she married to a billionaire. So
Right.
Like shout out to Eve. I'm gonna let the ladies have that night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch the Soulja Boy,
Wow.
but the Trina and all that, like, they might as well just throw Kaya in there. It should be Trina versus Eve and Kaya.
Does Kaya have enough? Does Kaya even have 20 songs?
No, just put that one song on there.
My neck, my back,
And then put Trina. No, put my other girl in it, Lil Kim.
So Lil Kim has a catalog.
She has a catalog. I think it just needs to be like those two, and then because I think Lil Kim versus let's see, who's the original girl?
Trina.
Trina is a hard match, because like who's gonna lose if it was still that versus it's not.
Yeah.
But I think that if you make it a 3 or 4-way battle, then it's like a big victory for the girls, because like Eve it doesn't even make sense. Like this match doesn't even make sense.
What if they put Nicki Minaj
Oh boy.
versus Missy Elliott?
Oh, Missy Elliott's gonna wipe.
Yeah, I think Missy Elliott beats everybody.
That's facts.
Nicki Minaj, because Missy Elliott has like such a variety of songs that it's like, all right, you want a little rap, you want to dance. She even put out an album or something like a year and a half ago, which I liked a lot.
Yeah.
So
I think Missy's the greatest woman of all time. She's as far as rappers to me. women rappers.
Well, yeah, because she's so accomplished, I guess.
And I
she
just
has
think
a good musical.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
Her and I think Lauryn Hill are slowly being forgotten about with this new wave of like women rappers.
Yeah, but Lauryn Hill only has that one album and her work with
The Fugees.
Fugees.
But yeah, but I mean, if you put together what she put together, it can't be lost in the history books.
And she
of,
got
like,
Sister Act too.
But you know what though? Lauryn Hill gets a lot of sample money.
Yeah.
In a single week, Cardi B and Drake put out a Lauryn Hill sample song. So it's like I think they could forget it as long as they want. As long as people still sampling music, they're gonna sample her forever until the end of time. So
It's just sad that like now if you're a woman rapper, you're like have to be this certain way. It seems like the industry's kind of pushing a certain type of woman rapper when I wish there was another like style like Missy Elliott that just put out fun dance music and stuff like that.
You said fun because I was about to tell you, homegirl who, what is her name? She's pretty much like Kendrick Lamar type music. I'm trying to remember her name. She had a dope album a couple years ago.
SZA?
No, not SZA. She's a rapper.
Oh, yeah, I don't know then.
You don't know who? Chris, you can't think of it.
No,
All
not
right, come back to me. But yeah, the industry. I personally look at all the female rappers and I just see Nicki Minaj.
Yeah,
It's like copy and paste.
Nicki and Cardi. Because I feel like Cardi kind of came in at this whole like stripper turned rapper and started that whole wave.
Now you're starting to sound like JD. Was it JD who said that? Like stripper rap, and he got a lot of backlash for that.
Well, I'm talking about that whole vibe of like the hustler rapper.
All right, let's see. Hold on 1 second. We got. Is it No Name that I'm thinking of? Tierra Whack?
Nah,
it's
No
not,
Name is an activist rapper.
See, well, that's different.
Yeah, but that's not fun.
Yeah. Well, I think Big Lotto's kind of fun. Rhapsody. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
Rhapsody.
okay. Yeah.
Rhapsody's alright,
Yeah,
man.
she's cool. She's on that vibe.
Yeah, Rhapsody's alright. Like she's deep, but like she cool. But to go back to the like stripper rap, I can 100% see where that comes from. Mm-hmm. When I looked at a video of Big Lotto the other day. And it was just like a copy paste of Nicki Minaj. And it's not to down her because I think she got some dope songs. But it's like, I don't know when it happened that women who are the most variety-esque creatures in the world, like they could change their hair, they could change their nails, they could do everything change. Where like I'm starting to see and feel like they're all super similar versus the guys where there's like a variety of guys. Like, yes, the Polo G's and the Roddy Riches and all that stuff, they kind of look and sound the same and whatnot. But like in that same world exists other rappers like Big Sean and Drake and these kind of things where there's like a good amount of variety. So now with the ladies and the type of music they make, like the City Girls, I want to say like Nobody Kill Me, but they were making like scammer rap, where it was like we about to scam these dudes, get their money, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just unfortunately the rap culture tends to take the try to take negative stuff and make it commercial, right? So, even in rap music, it's all about the killings. Like they just made that "Who I Smoke" song, right?
Who I Smoke, Rory.
Yeah. So obviously that song's about killing people, but they make it fun and everybody's singing it like it's like like it is anthem when it's really about people that are dead.
Well, give me a quick response to this. So there was a post that came out that said like Miami police is targeting rappers because Pooh Shiesty, Polo G, and somebody else got arrested in Miami recently, like within the last week. Mm-hmm. What's your response to that?
I mean, I could see it as being true.
As targeting?
I don't know if it's targeting, but in the sense that at the end of the day, everybody has a job. So police are going to be judged based off of the amount of arrests they make, cases that they're able to clear, so on and so forth. So most employees are going to go for what's the easiest thing that I could get at. So if people are putting in their music basically all the breadcrumbs to the crimes that they've committed and, you know, stuff like that, that's just easy to be able to make, you know, a name for yourself. If you're the person that could get Polo G arrested, you know, that's going to make it waves in the company that you're working at or whatever.
Well, here's my thing. These guys are not getting arrested for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like Pooh Shiesty fired a weapon and it hit a security guard. I'm trying to avoid saying he shot somebody.
Allegedly.
No, there's a video that ricocheted off.
But you still gotta say
but it allegedly shot. He allegedly did this thing alleged.
Yeah.
And it shot a security guard in the leg alleged. And it's like they're not doing nothing.
Right. It's not like innocent. Like, let's fight for the innocent people that are getting arrested for just no reason, right? Or like the innocent bystanders that are getting shot for no reason. Like, everybody doesn't have to be what's it called? Like we don't need a rally for everybody. We don't need a movement for like, you know, if you're doing wrong and you get arrested, it's not a target. It's like you got arrested for a crime.
Yeah. My last thing I'm gonna say to you is so the NYPD put out a Pride vehicle.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? Okay.
Yeah.
And so somebody wrote like, people are saying that the sirens sound like Bobby Valentino, and and then they got this Eddie Murphy and Raw where he's like doing this sound.
Pull over.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Pull over. I'm gonna read him his rights.
You know what I'm saying? And then they did like this. Okay, so like that was on the Black Monopoly page, and I started reading the comments, and some of it was like, "This is super homophobic," and I didn't really quite understand like why it was homophobic.
Yeah.
But then I also saw a comment that made me think, and they were like, "How could you post this homophobic post? Meanwhile, the NYPD is running down queer people left and right." And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
What do you mean running down? What do they mean by that? Like arresting?
I don't even know. I guess that they're saying like they're like killing them and whatnot.
Okay.
But I say this because I thought when they canceled Trump off of all social media, misinformation stopped spreading.
Right. So what's the misinformation?
Well,
You trying to say that NYPD aren't running down gay people?
I would love to know if they are, because I want to be properly informed.
Well, if it's on the internet, it's true.
Abraham Lincoln said that.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky.
Steve Carell.
I mean, I saw a lot of people being like, it's so funny. Like you know exactly when something like that happens, what each side are going to say about it. So the left is like, oh, this is so awesome and all that kind of stuff, right? You know, pride appreciation. And then the right is like, this is what supposedly we're supposed to be cutting their budget, but they still have money to do, you know, like, it's just like,
I ain't even hear none of that stuff. I honestly, man, I'd never seen a Pride like this. I didn't even know what month Pride Month was.
Is this month, yo?
But yeah, but have you guys noticed that like it's a lot more this year? I never.
It's about like that every year.
I think
The companies do all this stuff.
I mean,
not the
yo,
companies, but
the wokeness that's happened right now, dude, companies are going to do whatever allows them to have the most grace with society, right? And make the most money. Everything is calculated for them.
I mean, totally understandable, and I don't hate that. I don't hate that. But my thing is like, maybe I wasn't paying attention. I do understand. Like Devian was telling me, like, oh, it's Pride Parade. Like I know about Pride Parade. I didn't know about Pride Month, and I'm clearly ignorant on this. But it seemed like it was something that people were looking forward to 10 months ago, and they were preparing. They got cars.
Yeah.
I saw Pizza Hut change this whole thing to rainbows and stuff. I'm like, yo, bro, what happened? Like,
And I think you're right. I've always known it to be Pride Week. I didn't know
it was
about Pride Month.
weekend. I thought it was a
Yeah,
Pride,
no, because I know there was a
It's
bunch.
been Pride Month for a while, guys.
Well, and then
Really?
now that I'm thinking about it, it probably has been a month because there's different Pride parades all throughout in different cities. I remember,
Oh,
especially
is it
when I was on
throughout the month?
Yeah,
I thought it was just all year round.
No, there's like certain Pride, and it's usually summertime right now where like there'll be a big one in New York, a big one in Philly, a big one in California. Like, so, and what was I had a point, but maybe it wasn't that important because I don't no, but I think the representation is awesome. I didn't know the Dodgers had a Pride game. Did you know about that?
I didn't know anything about Pride.
Did you know that Dodgers always had a Pride game?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But yeah, they just had it, I guess, on Friday.
What did they do in it?
Huh?
What did they do?
It's
in the
just
game?
like it's just their Pride game, so it's just like geared towards Pride. Pride
It's like
month.
when they have Jackie Robinson Day.
Exactly the same thing.
Everybody wears 42. Everybody wears the number 42.
Everybody, yeah, it's fun because it's good. Like, one of my coworkers is a baseball fan. He's also gay, so like for him, it was a big event. Like him and all of his like friends, they got tickets for it to go, and it was a good thing. I didn't know that people specifically like
Had no
circled this game to go because of it was a Pride Day game, and then what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What? I would like to know like how things get to where they are.
This year has been the first year that a lot of companies and stuff are showing their support
I see.
outright. But as far as just Pride Month in general, it's been a thing for a while.
Did you hear about Cat Williams talking about cancel culture?
Yeah, kind of a dumb take.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
So you believe that there is a cancel culture?
No, the dumb part about the take is where he says
Why don't you explain the take and then
Sure. So for those who didn't hear it, Cat William ultimately says that there is and there isn't a cancel culture, because the thing is there is nobody that has gotten canceled that we don't have anymore unless they truthfully deserved it. And you're not removed from being able to say words anymore. You could say whatever you want, but you just have to deal with the repercussions that come with it.
Right.
However, as a comedian, you want to appeal and you want to appease to the largest audience possible. So if that means you can't say certain things that upset that audience, then so be it. You should be able to be funny while taking into consideration how these people feel about specific words, phrases, and terms. That's a good explanation?
I think so.
Okay, so the part that I think like there's a couple issues with that. The first thing is he says if you lower the basketball court or basketball rim, then everybody would say that they'd be able to make it into the NBA. And it's like that has nothing to do with cancel culture. It's not even that doesn't even mean anything, because no one is saying that because you're cancelable, you can be a comedian now. Like it just doesn't mix or match. The other part about that is like he says you want to appeal to the largest audience possible. And now me as a filthy capitalist, I say, yeah, right. But there is that art side of comedy that makes you. That makes you a value proposition to a specific audience. Not everybody is made to speak to everyone. Even Kevin Hart is not made to speak to everyone.
Right.
Jerry Seinfeld is not made to speak to the largest audience. He's supposed to speak to his audience.
Right.
And for me, in comedy, when I go and watch comedy, like I heard this one guy who he had a real wild take about gay people. And he had a real wild take about black people, all in the same set. And for me, I did not leave there huffing and puffing, because I know I went to a comedy show.
Right.
And in a comedy show, these guys who are typically like the most tormented people, they're taking the worst possible things and they are trying to make them funny. And it has to appeal to their audience. So for me, like when he said the black joke and he said the gay joke and he had these weird like thoughts about it, I was just like, well, let me just take a second and figure out like, who is he talking to? Is he talking to me? Am I supposed to laugh about this? And yeah, he's like trying to do that. And for the people that didn't like it, they don't like it. And guess what? Don't go back to his show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's not trying to appeal to the largest audience. He's just talking to that specific group of people that makes sense. So that's why, to me, like, I thought that Cat Williams had a real great way of speaking in that conversation with Joe. And he has a natural way of just, you know, when he speaks, he sounds very intelligent and he sounds great and he sounds good. But Cat Williams is not a person who follows the rules. You know, he's had plenty of incidents where he should have been canceled.
Right.
You know, and he wasn't. So it's like, are you not funny because you've gone through these situations and you were not canceled? So it's like, okay, I don't know if it's a messenger problem or if that even makes sense, because ultimately Seth Rogen said the same thing 2 weeks ago, and I just said that sounds stupid too.
So I got a different take on that. So I kind of agreed with when he said that there's not really a cancel culture.
Yes.
That we've not, who is the person that we've lost that we're like missing through cancel culture. And the truth is, like, who got canceled that we're really like, dang, like we're missing that person. The only people that like really have gotten canceled, you know, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, like, but they're canceled for reasons that we're just
from
like
Seinfeld.
Yeah, where we're just like, yeah, like, I mean, people stopped supporting them because of whatever reasons that they stopped supporting. I don't think it was like necessarily unjustified. Let's put it that way. And I think like Bill Burr kind of makes the same similar type of sentiments when people are like, how do you feel about people being upset about this joke? He always answers the same way. He's like, who's upset? And then they're like, well, you know, people. And then he's like, no, it's like one blogger on the internet that, you know, said it. It's not everybody. Like, that's what we give it more power than it actually is. So when Cat Williams says there isn't really a cancel culture,
which I agree with,
it's just, you know, society and norms have changed, and it's up to the comedian to be able to still be funny in the whatever the way that society is deeming it to be. At the end of the day, like, and when you say, well, Cat Williams has done things against the lines, and that's what Cat Williams is saying. He's like, you can still say whatever it is that you want.
Agreed.
You just have to deal with the repercussions. Now, his point is also, if you're funny enough, if you're talented enough, no matter what these guys throw at you, you'll still be able to survive. You'll still be able to make money. You'll still be able to be on top. And that's where I'm like, when people are like, well, Cat Williams is not the most clean comedian. He's always saying things that are, you know, got him canceled, or people and he's saying, no, they've tried to cancel me. I'm speaking from experience of people trying to cancel me for whatever, and sometimes I had to change the things that I said, and it made me think about that. Other times it's like, you know, I just deal with the repercussions, but I'm still here. And so a Dave Chappelle that could still make trans jokes, even though, like, you know, the trans community keeps coming after him, he's talented enough to still be able to do that, still be able to sell out arenas, still be able to make specials that people are gonna, you know, purchase and watch, and so on and so forth. So I agree with him as far as like cancel culture is more like the attempt to cancel. But if you're truly like talented enough, truly like strong enough, if you're truly like, I guess, the truth, you're not gonna get canceled. You're going to just have to deal with it. And most people, whenever they try to attempt to cancel somebody that doesn't have like a justified reason, those people end up making more money because of the attempt to cancel them.
Yeah,
versus
well, for
like,
sure.
Yeah, versus, you know, people that are justifiably need to get the fuck out of here because, you know, they raped somebody, or they like, you know, committed a crime, or
and
whatever
people
it is.
still, I don't know if people remember this, but Bill Cosby went on a comedy tour before he went to prison.
And people were still, and
Oh yeah,
R. Kelly
people
too.
were still there. The thing is, like, the thing that I just didn't agree with is the part where he said, if you have to say those things, then you probably weren't funny in the first place. And it's like, I don't think so. I think that everybody has their own language, how they say things,
Right.
What makes sense to them, what makes sense to their audience. Because I keep saying that it's not about the biggest audience. It's not about who can have the largest draw. If you have a consistent group of people who just jive with you, they are going to make you successful.
Right.
They're going to make you rich. Yes, cancel culture, I don't necessarily think is a real thing. I remember having this conversation with Lewis years ago where I was like, that ain't no real thing. It's people on Twitter getting upset and that's it. And there is nobody who's really gotten canceled. You know, there are some people in the acting world, maybe they lost their agent, they lost the show, they lost to this, they lost to that. But like, they're still able to figure it out,
right?
You know, with some time.
Like that dude that lost his job at Saturday Night Live because he made the Asian joke. I forget the dude's name, but he's still, you know, touring. He still has a podcast and stuff like that. Obviously, that sucks that he lost to Saturday Night
You
Live.
made an Asian joke?
Yeah, I think he said, you know, something, you know, he had an Asian joke that he did on somebody's podcast where he used the C word that rhymes with Sphinx.
Oh.
So
look at me not even knowing the cancelable word. Huh?
Yeah, so I
I'm
mean,
perfect.
and so it does happen where like certain people, like you said, lose their job, especially, and that's more in Hollywood, I would say, where it's
like where you have a boss.
yeah,
you
and
know?
it's more, let's say, social justice on, you know, higher level where versus, you know, just regular corporate America or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think that you know it things have changed. Like, I mean, I was at my job, I work for a big corporation, and in one of the trainings that they stated that, you know, if you are caught saying something on social media, you can lose your job for it.
For sure.
That doesn't mesh with, you know, the corporate values or whatever the case may be. So I don't think that was a norm. Like, that wasn't something that was spoken about. So I think that's also because social media has become such a big thing now that
it's so accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Rock kind of said the opposite, where he was like, it does make his job a little harder. And I think that like Tambourine was just so not funny, and he's my favorite comedian of all time. You could see that these guys actually think about that and they want to consider it, but at the same time, like, comedians are naturally supposed to be the people that push the envelope.
Right.
If you know you can't take it, don't go watch Kevin James. He's a clean stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Like, do your little bit of research before you go. But if you know this is like a backroom bar type conversation where you cannot handle that, then I don't know if that's on the comedian.
Right.
Just like when Drake smashed that girl who was with the dude, like, that ain't Drake's fault. Like, she could have just said no.
Drake smashed a girl with some dude.
Oh, you remember she was with a guy? So, all right, he flew a girl in to sing on his album. She was with her fiance for 8 years. He actually like rapped about it on that Seeing Green song. And he took the girl back to the hotel and he knocked it down, and then the guy is like a Kempo fighter or something. He was like, I'm training to beat Drake up, and he made like an anger song about it. It's like, that's not Drake's fault.
Yeah.
That's your girl's fault. Like, what
He
is
saved you.
facts? Right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's that type of thing where it's like, it's always pointing the finger at somebody else,
Right.
you know. But I will tell you guys this before like we actually end. So I saw this post on Instagram this morning,
Okay.
and it was this girl that I used to talk to like 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And she looks very good. Like, she looks amazing. So I react to one of her pictures. I like sent a little like 100. I was like, okay. She was like, oh, thank you so much. I can't believe you noticed. And I was like, what? Yeah, I noticed. And she was like, well. I was like, well, what? Now, guess what? Guess whose voices I have in the front of my head?
That one girl when he said,
Hers, but also y'all's.
oh, okay.
Because she goes, well, aren't you going to say something about what's obvious? And I'm like,
Look, I was about you.
No.
You could compliment her.
she goes, I lost 60 pounds. You're not going to say you lost weight. You look really good. I was like, I don't want to say anything about anybody's weight.
Nah, I'm all
Because you
about
was
it.
gonna say, "Oh, you look."
Yeah, just don't be like, oh, no, you like when you're doing facial gestures and monkey noises.
He said, "Dang, your belly."
Monkey.
You know.
Right when I said it out of my mouth, I was like, here we go.
You're about to lose your job.
I am.
No. She said that. She was like, "You're not even gonna say anything." I was like, "I don't want to say anything." Weight. I don't want to say anything about people's weight anymore. I only criticize men now. She was like, "Tell me I look good because I lost weight." I was like, "You look good because you lost weight."
But you didn't hear it from me.
Yeah, I didn't say it.
I went into work and my manager, I was like, wow, you look really good. It looks like you've lost some weight. She's like, thank you. I've been really trying.
Well, I put a post up on the Men on the Internet podcast Instagram, and overwhelmingly the people who listened to the podcast and voted said I didn't say anything wrong. And it was not only men. It wasn't just Sam Barnett.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
man.
There was a lot of women who were just like, you didn't say anything wrong. She just took it like a certain way.
Right.
And actually one woman DM'd me and she was like, I was just like that in my 20s. And she was like, even with the like monkey sounds and whatever you did, like you had clear intentions of trying to lift somebody up. And she was like, I was like that where I was just kind of like, and she was like, once I hit my mid 30s and I was more like in control of myself, that's when I realized, damn, I was mean to a lot of people for no good reason. And I was like, I'm about to monkey sound all over the place now.
Yeah. Because I said it. Remember, I said that's a her problem. That's not a you problem.
Yeah, but then you guys went in on me, so now I can't say nothing.
The whole like, I said because I remember when somebody that gave me feedback was like, "Dang, you went hard at Chris," because he wasn't saying what you were saying, and I was like, "Well, I took it that we aren't allowed to compliment women on their weight or that they've lost weight and all that kind, which I think is not right." But I think your compliment was just weird, is what I said. Like, it wasn't like, wow, you're fit. You could really tell that you've lost light. It was like, your face.
I didn't want to say. Well, we're not gonna go back to that.
Don't reopen the
But that's all I'm saying.
The
She
band-aid's
was
already
like,
on.
she was like, compliment me on my weight loss.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think more people would be happy about it. I've never had that issue where I've complimented a girl and she got upset about the compliment the way that girl did. So that's why I was saying I think it's more of that girl's issue than what you actually were doing. But
right.
I do think that compliment was weird that you tried to make. You could have done it in a less weird way.
I'm a weird person. If you,
I know. It can't be helped.
It really can't. If I became normal, nobody would jive with me.
Yeah, see, he said the word jive. Who uses jive? Are you from 1977?
What is that? What's
We
your name?
jiving.
Oh god.
We jiving.
Yo, you guys want to play some music?
No, we're not allowed to. What's the point if it doesn't ever make the air? Like we just
It makes
No,
because you watch the YouTube
Yeah,
version.
you can't use the YouTube on YouTube.
You can't use it on YouTube, but we do play it on. You don't listen to the. He don't listen to the scream.
Yeah, I don't
Actual.
listen to
You
the
don't even listen to
actual.
the scream. Damn. All right. Well, then that's it. We met.
That's funny.
Anybody else got anything to say?
I'm all good.
Chris, I thought you had some stories that you were about to tell us.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was in Chicago last week, and my first time in Chicago ever. They put me in a hotel in Naperville, and I'm slacking a coworker because I'm gonna go see him in Chicago. He lives in Chicago and filming his work. So I'm on the plane from Dallas to Chicago. He messages me. He's like, "Hey man, where'd they put you up?" I was like, "Oh yeah, they put me in this hotel called Naperville. Oh, in Naperville? I don't know where that is." He goes, "Oh, bro, Naperville sucks." And then I had to get on the plane and turn my phone off. I was like, "What you mean Naperville sucks? What am I looking for here?" I have to check my back every time I get in Naperville. What's going on? I get to Naperville. I'm like, this place bougie as hell. What's she
It's
talking
super
about?
rich over there.
And so I go to see him the next day, and he's like, "Yeah, it's just bougie, it's douchey. You should have just been in the city the whole time." I was like, "Oh, okay, man, you freaking me out the whole time." But it was a cool setup.
Chris ain't even tell you the real story.
What's the real story?
All right, so
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anytime Kelby starts the story with, all right, so, that's when you know nothing's gonna be true about what
Thank you
goes
very
on.
much. Thank you very much. You're starting to see what I see. That's why I don't take half of the shit that he says seriously. This is all dumb as hell.
All right, so okay, this ain't a real story.
We can tune out now.
yeah, you don't want to hear the story of how Chris was telling me he went to O Block.
Here we go. Hey, before you go into the story,
I'm not
I
going
saw
to
this.
I'm gonna give him a compliment.
This
Yo, you
dude,
been losing weight.
This dude from the yo, the more I listen to your stories, the more I realize why you do like the Migos, because your stories and the Migos are like, if we just put a beat on it, would be the same thing. But this dude from I guess the UK flew out to Chicago and then went to O Block. You saw that? And he was like crying because he made it out to O Block. Like what? How like crazy is hip hop that they made O Block like a destination? Like
Yeah, I love it. I'm surprised he didn't get shot, but you know what? That's what's up. You
he
know
would
what I
have
mean?
been like, I got shot at O Block. This is the best day of my life.
Actually, he would have said, "Bruv, I got shot at O Block.
Bruv, these bad men.
These roadmen just jumped up on me.
Man shot me in the leg.
Now he's Toronto, UKian.
Nah, man, Mans is UK too.
Mans.
Oh, that's right. He's a roadman. Yeah, no.
You're not a bad man.
Nah, Chris told me he told me about 2 a.m.
Oh, what happened?
He told me at 2 a.m.
All right, so what
He
happened?
was like, "Yo, what's the address to O Block?"
Oh,
Yeah. Because I
was
couldn't
like-
Google it myself.
Google was like, "O Block."
Block.
What is
Listen
that?
here. Stay in Naperville.
And he was like, "Yo, don't tell Jessica."
Go ahead.
that extra song. Yo, his whisper had a whisper on that one. You even looked in that direction.
I did not. Let me start now because the rest is illegal.
Oh,
The rest is illegal. Yeah, man.
You
yeah.
dumb as hell.
Yeah, that was a good night for you, huh? That was better than the strip club night. Yeah.
Stay tuned for next week on
you go.
Man on the Internet.
Yeah. No, there was one. I couldn't know exactly the strip club story.
Yo, this Kelby voice is hilarious to me. The one that's like a roller coaster, like
I'm trying to tell you, man. Chris out here, he was sniping them back there in the whole block. I'm telling you right now, he was out there
sniping
He was
him.
like, I met somebody on Twitter. I was like, oh snap! I didn't even know he used Twitter like that. I thought he ain't even had no avatar on there.
What you know about that, Kill? What you know about
I mean,
that?
he started DMing. He was like,
You know what I mean?
She was like, you coming through? And he was like, where you live at? She was like, oh, but
And I was like,
Chris started lying too. He was like, man, I've been there 10 times.
10
And then that's why he had to.
right
That's
now.
why. That's why he had to DM me. He was like,
okay.
He was like, "Yo, what's the address to O Block?"
Yeah, he DM'd because it's not like you have his phone number.
Right.
Yeah. He was. I was like,
You were already on the app, so it was like
I didn't
more.
wanna waste more. That's an extra
I was
swipe.
like, it's 1 block away.
For sure.
He was like that.
So you were on P Block.
People, yeah.
You knocked it down too, huh,
You
girl?
sound
were you
real-
on
You knocked it
N
down,
Block?
girl.
You sound like a native Chicagoan.
Yo, so
He said he's 1 block away.
yo, what is so bad about the people on the N Block and the OP block that they couldn't get one rapper to really shout out their blocks? like why is it only
What's
O
wrong with
Block?
the rest of the alphabet?
Like N Block didn't have N Block couldn't catch the wave
Man.
when Chief Keef was doing his thing. Like we couldn't get one person on N Block to really throw out the
Dirk
N Block.
was like, no, we ain't doing that.
Nah, it's just O Block.
I mean, right, Chris? Chris went over there. They shot the tires up. They had him doing push-ups like Justin Bieber.
On his Uber, the Uber tires were
You
shut
remember
out.
when Justin Bieber had to do them push-ups? They had Chris up in there. They were like, who you here to see, brother? And Chris was like, Tyrese. Had him doing them push-ups on O Block. Yeah, he had to call me. I had to talk to him on speakerphone.
He
Anyway,
said blood. Like he using Cali gangs out there in Chicago.
They got that.
Man, they got the
GDs?
yeah. They
Yeah,
got.
let me get on that. You think I don't know? You
No, I know you know.
think I don't know? I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, this has been
If you're done, it's been a great episode.
okay. Con ganas.
Ew, can gain us.
The truth is,
Hey,
Chris
tell
was in
that story,
Naperville
bro.
around a whole bunch of white people.
Yeah,
They
I
were
really
like,
was,
stay away
Eating
from
Napoleon
old
pizza.
block. I'll tell you that, Bucko.
No.
What's the story?
The story you were telling about the nurse in your shirt.
Okay. So I go to the doctor
Go ahead.
because I'm a little bit hurt. I got into a car accident. You good?
I'm fine.
Okay. So I'm a little jazzed up from the car accident. So I went to the doctor to get some things checked out, yada, yada, yada. And so I'm wearing a Kagana shirt.
Shout out.
I worked on the music video day. What was my title that day? I think I was like BTS photographer or something like that. So Kaganas is
Why he had to suck his teeth in?
But that's whenever he tells any story.
This is a real story.
You ever
bro.
hear this
is
one when Kelby's talking? He goes, "Okay, so
all right. So Kaganas. Kaganas Pizzeria.
Nah, I don't even know if this is a real story anymore.
That's a real story.
This is Sabalos' production media company.
Yeah.
Right.
So I go to the doctor's office, and so we talking. The doctor, he was like kind of interesting. He was talking to me. He was like, "Yo, you like porn?" And I was like, "The hell?" He was like, "They use my house for porn all the time and stuff." I was like, "Yo, bro, just fix my back,
Yeah.
bro. Just
Can
fix,
you
and
just-
don't blow it out. Just
Yeah.
fix my back for me." And so I'm sitting in the office. They come in. And one nurse comes in. She goes, "I like your shirt." And the other nurse, like right behind, she was like, "I was trying to figure out what it said because I was wearing a Kagana shirt." And so she was like, "It says Conganas," and everybody in the office kind of in unison. They turned around. They was like, "Oh, Conganas." It was like 8 people, all like in unison, and then they all kind of drizzled with Conganas, yeah, Conganas.
all Hispanic."
No, it was like an Asian dude. The women were all Hispanic, but the doctor was white. Everybody, they were just like,
That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like
and
to
I was
It's a
just
movement.
like, I was like, that was like the weirdest thing because everybody was just like, yeah.
Yes.
All right, back to work.
That's exactly what I want.
Yeah,
That should be your
that's
promo
exactly
commercial.
right. Nobody said.
Con ganas.
Nobody
All right,
said
anyway.
what is it. In fact, it was funny because one nurse, like I think she was the only white girl, she was like, "What does that mean?" And they were just like, "It means Conganas."
You don't know, stupid.
It kept on working. She was like, "Oh."
Yeah, see?
Yeah. So Conganas is going crazy on the charts. I'll tell you that.
Dude, the streets, the streets.
Screech.
Oh, the screech.
Streets is talking.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
they got
what
a
I like
couple
to
work
hear.
for Conganas Pizzeria.
Kagadas Pizzeria. Welcome to Kagadas Pizzeria. What you want?
What could I get you? You like a che pizza?
Yeah, you want some chorizo?
Yeah.
For the first pizzeria is gonna be on O Block,
Oh, man.
not N Block
It's a
or P Block.
it's a wrap.
Only O Block.
Anyway,
All right. Anyway, so you had fun at O Block.
it was fun. Chicago's awesome.
All right. Cool. All right. That's it. That's the show.